My life is spiraling out of control, but I still do this podcast. Hello, it's Brandon. I'm Brandon McClure of the Fake Nerd Podcast. This is episode 247. I'm here with Ben Magnet.
Back from the dead, apparently.
Ryan Eliopoulos.
I'm here to be positive.
And Sparks Woody.
You want to turn this into a little therapy session?
Nope, let's go.
You want to talk about that spiral?
Well, it's not a really good movie, if I'm honest.
Dang, I was also going to make the spiral reference. Good job. Sorry, Chris Rock.
Thank you.
Man, you could have turned that into something with the book club, Brandon. Come on.
Nah.
All right.
We're here though. We're going to be talking about Black Widow. This is the first MCU movie.
She's so alive, you guys.
In the theaters. 2 years. Crazy.
Oh God, it has been 2 years.
Yeah, this July was Far From Home.
Yeah, it was.
No,
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Kevin Feige looking at that gap like 2 years, never again. Marvel movie every 4 months.
Marvel
maximum.
Marvel hates what the pandemic did so bad. Like they cured it.
Yeah.
Marvel's the one who cured the pandemic.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like,
I believe that Kevin Feige would do that.
Yeah, he gave him the money.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's.
We're the kind of Marvel fans people would hate.
Oops.
We said things like that.
I don't mean it.
I know.
I forgot my thing because we got links in the description.
Oh shit, we do?
Yes, we have two fake nerd watches.
Two.
Episode 4 and 5 of Loki.
Oh, that's right.
Sweet.
Both of those came out this week. We were able to record 5 early.
Look at that.
So
Just like the TVA time doesn't
More
matter.
like we were able to record 5 on time.
Yes.
Well,
Time,
earlier
time
for
doesn't matter.
Earlier for us. Freaking Wednesdays, man.
Yeah. So check out both of those. Those are linked below. We also have my episode of Conversation with Michael Hahn of the GD podcast and Mom Fears My Podcast. I talked to him about his show and being a dad and fandom and things like that. It's good.
Mom fears this podcast?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good name. Right?
Also,
Yeah.
just for clarification, the GD does not stand for goddamn.
Right. It stands for Gaming Dads. Yes, I should have.
That is
clarified.
confusing.
Yeah. I'm sure intentionally so.
I was trying to think of something stupid
I have
to say with
not
GD.
listened to that episode yet. I'm one behind. So
Well, get on it.
No.
All right.
Nope.
Not your mother. And your mother would not tell you to do a podcast.
There you go.
All right. Anyway.
you're right. My mom warned me about people like you.
So that's up right now. And next week I'm talking to Andy Palastides. Hope I pronounced that right.
Bless you.
That's a fun one. The Great Derelict. All right.
Ooh.
And Ben,
So the GD podcast.
the GD podcast. Yeah.
There it is.
Whoa. I'm just high enough for that to work.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Ben, you have a link in the description.
I most certainly do.
Your article?
Yes, it is. Yes. Last week? Yeah, last week. Or no, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago was Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary. And I finally wrote an article about essentially the time I first met and got into Sonic the Hedgehog. So
What's he like? You met him.
He's fast. He likes chili dogs.
Beat me by that.
I really enjoyed your article, Ben. I am curious, what's it feel like to have been a fan of Sonic since you were 1?
Interesting.
Ben, how old are you?
Listen,
Shut up.
came out of the womb, a controller in his hand.
He constantly in the article says, as a fan of Sonic for
30 years.
over 30 years. And I'm like, no, you weren't.
Listen, some things are just part
You
of
were
your
a
life.
baby.
This is like
Ben, did
reincarnation.
you forget how old you were when you were writing the
No,
comic?
I get it. Like he was thinking of like Sonic has been around for 30 years, so that's what he's referencing. But I'm like, the phrasing is like, yeah, I've been a fan of Sonic for over 30 years now,
For
and
3
I'm like,
decades now.
not you personally, but I get it.
And finally, Ryan,
Hey.
you have a link. Downright Annoyed.
Oi, I do. We talked about Steamboat Bill, a 1928 silent movie starring Buster Keaton.
Oh.
We all thought it was just fine. Not all silent movies can hold up, you guys.
That's true.
That's true.
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have a link?
No.
Look for my OnlyFans on Sparks Witty.
No.
Rob,
just-
puppet action.
That's where the puppet comes back, is on OnlyFans.
Oh my god. You open. Never mind.
You're considering it now, unfortunately. What have I done?
That would either not get any traction or get the most traction.
too much traction.
Or just get all of the traction.
There's a new
just
there's a
all
new
the
fetish
stuff.
alive.
All the stuff.
That would be an
sure the
unfortunate way
felt
for this
fetish.
podcast to get recognized.
That would be. But we do diversify.
That's
True. Yeah.
Look for the Fake Nerd Podcast OnlyFans. Man, I don't even want to see that.
No.
All right. That's it. Anyone wants to do their week?
No.
Nose goes.
Brandon goes.
Yeah,
Brandon
I've
goes.
Brandon.
just been talking.
Yeah, but you like never go first, and I'd like for you to go first. That'd be cool.
That's because I get tired.
He dodges the bullet as hard as he can
No,
every
it's
time.
because I get really winded after saying all the links. Then going right into my
Mhm,
week is
Man, I
it's
know,
weird.
it's
Like
a
I've been
lot. It's like-
talking.
No, I know, and then we talk for another 3 hours. That's crazy.
All right. Anyway, all right. I'll start with the shows I watched. I finished Godzilla Singular Point.
Nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Do you know what the show is now? Because last time you were like, I don't know what the show's about or whatever.
I think intentionally I don't. I think it's supposed to be like you need to go back and piece things together. And maybe the pseudoscience doesn't always make sense, like purposefully, like they're trying to just do like
Stupid.
sci-fi science.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is really intelligent. And I think that it's probably one of the better Godzilla things to come out. Period.
Nice.
I really liked it. The animation is great. The characters are awesome. Zara, who has only seen maybe 2 Godzilla movies, it really liked it. So
Excellent.
it's good for like new and old, and I really like the reinvention of a lot of the characters and things like that.
I mean, it's got Jet Jaguar, so how bad can it really be?
My guy, the definitive Jet Jaguar,
That's what I like to hear.
is in this show. It should be Jet Jaguar, Singular Point.
It's not. I mean, you're comparing it to one other thing, so I'm
I
not
know, but
surprised
like
this is definitive.
But it's so cool that like we got the thing in
Yeah.
the old days, and now we have like the really awesome, like on point thing.
no, I look at the Singular Point thing, but I look forward to watching it.
I was at Target and I'm the other day, and I was just surprised how much Godzilla merchandise is out there that's not just tied to the new movie.
Yeah.
There's like old Godzilla, like King Caesar is out on shelves, and I'm like, nobody's buying this guy, but like he's there, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
It makes you feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
Back in the old days.
Yeah.
And then I watched Monsters at Work. The first 2 episodes dropped on
I
Disney Plus.
can't believe that's out. Oh my god.
That's pretty good.
I don't have time, man.
I don't feel like they're promoting it very hard.
Get closer to the mic next time.
I don't believe they're promoting it very hard.
It's okay.
Yeah.
There is a drop off in animation quality, which we talked about in the
Well, it's clearly a Disney
yeah.
Disney other animation production. It's not
just-
Disney animation, so I
DO.
need to be careful how I talk about it. A Disney TV animation production working off a Pixar product.
Yeah. It doesn't have the charm. It doesn't bring back the charm of Monsters Inc. I think.
That's
from-
sad because it's all about like laughing.
Yeah.
Not yet, anyway. I'm sure maybe it gets there, but right now I'm not.
I'm
not sold.
Gotcha.
right. I'm interested to watch it for sure. I definitely like what got curious about it ever since the Disney shareholder meeting where Pixar like was very specific, like this will be Pixar's first television show.
Yeah.
And they were very like clear about that, and I'm like, okay.
So I wonder what
separate
happened there.
those waves, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, they're not.
Billy Crystal and John Goodman still fun to have back.
Sure.
As those characters, they're still a lot of fun.
So wait, can you answer my question then? Because
Sure.
like this was the thing when we were watching the last Monsters at Work trailer where I was like, maybe it's just the trailer. Are the voices just kind of look off on the animation sometimes?
I haven't noticed.
Okay, so it probably was the trailer.
Probably.
It was a trailer issue.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I was hoping it wasn't the animation.
Yeah, I haven't noticed, but I could be wrong.
Mm.
I'm not.
I
don't
trust
have to-
your eyes. This isn't a color issue, so
That's true. All right. Anyway, I'll watch more of that. I'm not gonna nod, but so far not too impressed.
Mhm.
I rewatched Thor: The Dark World. Solidifies my whole like it's better than Iron Man 2. I think it's kind of an easier
I'm definitely
watch.
sitting there at this point.
It's just kind of an easier watch. I'm not saying it's a good movie, like not even in the stretch, but it's just kind of because it's been reevaluated and because it is really funny. It's just kind of an easy to just put on movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm going to talk about Christopher Eccleston
Directed
twice.
by Alan Taylor, who did a lot of Sopranos and Game of Thrones, and then made one of the worst MCU movies, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, yeah,
It's just weird with his
I
career.
think it's also really questionable how much of that was him.
Yeah, that's definitely
Because-
around like
Because
the
you and I talked about it
metal
when we did the Endgame rewatch, where we're like, these shots are gorgeous.
Yeah.
yeah.
So something is up because I think that script just wasn't great, and then
Yeah.
we also know that this was he's going to come up later in this episode. So this was also during the time of Ike Perlmutter messing around with the movies.
boy.
So I'm not surprised that wasn't
Yeah.
most wonderful.
He's coming up later in the episode.
I suspect that I will bring him up at
I
some
will bring
point
him
in
up.
reference to the fact
Black
that
Widow.
Black Widow didn't have a movie until now
You're right.
because of him.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, but Thor: The Dark World. Tom Hiddleston, especially if you're just watching for the Tom Hiddleston stuff. Tom Hiddleston is great in it. So
I think like you're right when you like hold that like they are bottom of the barrel. This and Iron Man 2 of the MCU, pretty much everybody kind of agrees on that. But like if you hold them next to each other, I do think there's just a smidge more value in the performances and rewatchability of Dark World against Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2, the largest thing I think it has going for it is Sam Rockwell. It's not even RDJ.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Look forward to watching Ragnarok this week. All right. Speaking of Christopher Eccleston, who was robbed in Thor: The Dark World, I watched G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, the first G.I. Joe movie by Stephen Sommers.
Wait, what is he in G.I. Joe?
He's Chromehead?
He's
He's like
Destro.
He's like
Destro.
the main bad guy we're
he's
watching
Destro.
through that
Destro.
movie.
Yeah.
To be in my defense, it's been years since I last seen
A
G.I.
decade
Joe,
or so, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Came out in 2011.
Maybe 3 decades
Ooh.
or more.
G.I. Joe.
That's gonna be the running joke of this episode now.
No, it's not.
I mean,
But it has been a decade, Ben. So like I imagine the first time you saw it and only time you saw it was in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
so
no, wasn't in theaters. It was on TV.
Ben into the
Ben.
mic.
It was on TV.
These
Oh,
mics
okay.
are so much different,
Yeah.
man. It's crazy being back.
Sorry, it's like, oh wait, I have to
anyway.
get close now.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra is an awful movie.
Oh, I disagree.
Isn't Joseph
Um,
Gordon-Levitt Cobra?
Let me say what I want to say real quick.
Sorry.
I think Stephen Sommers has a great eye for action, and I think it shows. But that movie is torn to shreds by the studio editing.
Mhm.
It is clearly like the studio mandated a bunch of stuff. Make it like Iron Man. Make it like Transformers. Make it like this. It's really derivative. Where it shines is when Stephen Sommers is able to bring his voice through. When they're kind of playing a little tongue in cheek. When they're not. It's really hard to watch, like when Dennis Quaid is like, and knowing is half the battle, so let's figure out what these guys are. And I'm like, man, I really wish that was a more fun line in this movie, because Joseph Gordon-Levitt knows what kind of movie he's in, and he's having a ball, and he makes that movie infinitely more watchable. He is so good in that movie.
And you don't even know it's him.
You don't even know it's him. He plays Cobra Commander, as Ben said. Which
Well,
is
actually, he plays the doctor
yes,
who turns into Cobra Commander at the end of the movie.
yes,
He's
because
not-
it's Rise of Cobra.
Yeah, and he's not in the second movie at all.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm kind of bummed because that's when The Rock was
Yeah.
seen as like franchise revival power. So they put him in G.I. Joe and it didn't work.
I like both those movies.
He is not the reason that didn't work.
Well, no, sure.
Yeah.
There was a different actor who was also, hey, this might revive the franchise, who was the reason that movie didn't work.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm
You're
going to
talking
watch
about,
it this
Are you
week.
talking about Bruce Willis?
I am.
He's in the movie for 5 minutes.
I know. And that's why
That's-
it didn't, but they sold people on this movie as a Bruce Willis vehicle with Johnson seconding.
This is a different
That's what the
conversation.
trailers were.
he was a cameo at best. Yeah.
I know that's what
yeah.
the movie was.
I don't. Okay, yeah. This is who cares about G.I. Joe? You're right. Yeah.
I'm going to watch the second one because I decided I'm going to get rid of the Snake Eyes in the stupidest way I know how by watching these live action movies.
I don't know if it's it's not tied to those because they're recasted.
They recast Snake Eyes.
Yeah. No, and also like like the Baroness because
Oh,
yeah. So like this is a new universe.
Yeah. Which is why I said the stupidest way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I should just watch the G.I. Joe
You should
cartoon.
just watch the things it's actually based on.
Yeah, but I don't really feel like it. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time with this
I feel
one.
like at this point you'd have a better time reading some like specific G.I. Joe
Yeah,
comic runs
potentially, yeah.
probably than going back to
People-
that cartoon.
Tell me those comics are radical.
That's
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying that. Like
Yeah.
I think G.I. Joe for its time suffers a little more from the like able to go back to that cartoon than Transformers does.
Sure.
Transformers still does, but I think G.I. Joe has it even worse where it's like it's real shticky.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get away from.
Anyway, so like I said, I really like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I'm looking forward to getting to the second one. So they're kind of fun to watch.
Mhm.
Okay. I think I wanted more to say about that, but I forgot. So it doesn't matter. Oh, Arnold Vosloo is in it.
One of my favorite appearances, honestly.
Yeah.
So is Brendan Fraser.
So it's Brendan
uh,
Fraser for a second.
Where
Yeah,
that's
for what?
he takes over the role of Jeffrey Price.
Jonathan Price.
Yeah.
Because he plays the president.
Yep.
Yeah. So can't wait for the second one. I'm really excited for Snake Eyes. Speaking of Snake Eyes, that's what I wanted to say. I hate Snake Eyes' design in that first movie. He looks like a Power Ranger. It's awful. He's got the lips in the mask and then like a bodysuit. Like it's awful.
See, I like that movie because you say it looks like a Power Ranger. I'm like, oh, so it looks like an 80s cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
even in the 80s, he looked better because the idea was that the mask is flat. He doesn't have lips.
Yeah, no,
coming out of the mask.
I feel you. It's like a bad nipples thing. Like it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. All right. I watched Better Luck Tomorrow because this is Justin Lin's second movie.
Oh, right. The Han.
This is the first one that has Sung Kang. I believe is his name, as Han, who shows up in Tokyo Drift and the later Fast and Furious films. The reason why I wanted to watch it is because Han is the same character. He comes from that movie into Tokyo Drift and then shows up. So it's basically like Han the teenage years, written by Justin Lin.
So technically, he comes from that into Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Right.
Fast
yes.
5.
So like story wise, yes. But you can tell how, because he's in high school in Better Luck Tomorrow, and you can tell, and he's like a hardcore smoker, which is why he gets the chips in Tokyo Drift or Fast and Furious.
Cute.
And you can tell that like he graduated high school, met Dom, and then eventually went to Fast and Furious.
Cute. Like an unofficial spinoff.
Yeah, it's really cool. I liked it a lot. It's a really gritty teen drama.
Unofficial prequel.
Yeah.
I guess you couldn't really call it a spinoff because that's even backwards too elaborate.
Yeah. It's a really cool, gritty teen drama about these Asian kids in this school, like eventually becoming hardcore criminals and doing drugs. John Cho is in it.
Oh, cool.
He's got a really fun role. Really enjoyed it. Justin Lin's a really cool director. His early movies are worth checking out. I watched, so because of this week, Richard Donner passed away. We'll talk about it in a bit. I watched The Omen. I'd never seen the first Omen movie.
Oh, fascinating.
Damien, it's all for you.
I saw that you watched it and I was like, why did he watch The Omen? I didn't even think about it.
I never saw it before. I'm gonna watch the Lethal Weapon films and Lady Hawk. Is that the one? No, The Goonies.
I mean, Lady Hawk's also.
But I will watch Lady Hawk. But like The Goonies is the next one that I really want to see, because I can't remember if I've seen it.
I'm gonna guess you haven't.
Potentially,
I'm gonna guess that he has pretty much seen it,
Okay.
but always in like separate.
Maybe
That
small
means that he
settings.
hasn't seen.
Yes, I know.
I mean, I have vivid memories of it, but like no, I don't know. I'm looking forward to watching it though. Anyway,
I don't know what it is about Goonies where that's a lot of people's response to
Maybe.
it.
Because probably their parents watched it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So The Omen, I've only seen the remake. I saw it in theaters when it came out on June 6, 2006.
We saw that together.
We did. So I watched the original.
That's how long we've known each other.
Oh, that was a fun day in high school.
I mean, you weren't with us.
No.
Just to
I
clarify, we did not.
No,
know
no,
him in
I wasn't
high
going. No, I'm talking about because everyone was, because a lot of the really hardcore Christian kids were like really freaking out that day for some stupid reason.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm sitting there I'm sitting there goes like, guys, you forget there's a 2 in the front. Remember of 2006, there's a 2.
No, you can't think about that.
But they're like, no, but 666. I'm like, oh, you bloody idiots.
Well, it does only happen once every 1,000 years.
That means there's multiple apocalypses.
There was one year where it was actually the year 666.
Anyway,
And look at that, we're fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, people are gonna really freak out in 6,666.
I'm definitely gonna be here.
Me too.
Humankind will definitely be here.
Oh yeah.
What was I talking about? The Omen. So I really liked it. It's a great movie. Obviously, it's a classic. What do you say about a classic, right? Gregory Peck is great. I really love the twists and the turns of it and the mystery of it all. I really liked it. Really glad I finally saw it.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a great movie.
And then I watched Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1. This is the first.
Oh my god.
The first part,
All these things keep coming out.
right?
I know.
This is the third entry in their new animated universe. This one introducing Batman. Jensen Ackles is great as Batman. I really liked his Batman. All the voice acting is really cool. The animation is really cool, except it's really strange that everyone is animated in the same style that we've seen with Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and Justice Society, World War II, except for Joker, who's animated like he's just walked off a Tim Sale page. So he doesn't fit, and the animation doesn't fit together, but I think that might be intentional to make him seem kind of otherworldly. Or they just wanted to use that design.
Sure.
That's the only thing. Otherwise, it's a really cool adaptation of the book.
So just to be clear, like, it's not that he's animated in a different like style. Sorry, he's not animated mechanically differently. He's just stylistically drawn differently.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I was picturing like he literally looks like a
A
comic
2D.
book interacting with them, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that is a weird
Spider-Verse?
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's kind of choppy like the book because it deals with Halloween to New Year's Eve. And so you kind of get lost in where sections are taking place because they're all at night. So it just kind of leads into another.
And
Overall, really good. I liked it a lot.
you don't have the issues to help you.
Yeah.
No. Oh, this is different.
You only know when Holiday has killed someone, then it
Oh.
shows the Holiday,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, this has been
Right.
Thanksgiving the whole time.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And then finally I watched the Sparks Brothers, the new Edgar Wright documentary.
Nice.
I did manage to find time to go see that
Cool.
last showing in my movie theater. It's on demand. I recommend it.
What's it about?
It's about the Sparks. Sparks. It's about a band that a lot of people don't really know a whole lot about, but they've heard their music and a lot of things. And they've seen them in things like I myself saw them in Gilmore Girls. And I didn't really know a lot about them. And there's a lot of like mythology around them. For example, everyone thinks they're a British band. So their tagline for a while was the greatest British band to come out of America.
That's pretty good.
So basically it's all about them and their music and their brothers. So it's about them as brothers, and they tell their story, and then they get celebrities to tell their stories and other musicians. Edgar Wright is a really funny guy. There's a lot of really funny visual gags. For example, the Duran Duran shows up, and so it's the two guys from Duran Duran, and then under one is Duran, and then the other is Duran.
Duran. That's good.
So
Can you tell that Edgar Wright made it?
yes,
That's cool.
and it clearly has a ton of passion for Sparks and puts all of that in the movie.
That's awesome.
What I had no idea what they were, who they were, what kind of music they did, because I'm not a big music guy, but I've heard their songs before, and I discovered a group of guys who are just uncompromisingly creative and positive and always trying to. They do music because they love it and they want to keep experimenting. They don't care if they're popular. They just kind of keep trying.
Sure. I just mentally realized that we're on camera for a moment, and I want you to know that if you see me moving my arm down
He's
near my lap,
definitely
I'm petting my dog.
jerking it.
Yes.
I'm petting my dog
Hondo,
because I
jerking
just
him
thought about what
and
that could
me
look like,
and him.
and I want to be clear that she's just directly under me.
Um,
Jesus.
anyway,
Sorry.
yeah, the Sparks Brothers.
That sounds cool. I do want to watch that.
If you can
Mhm.
catch it on demand, I recommend.
Cool.
All right, that's me.
Benjamin, let's go down the line.
Well, yeah, because I got 2 weeks of stuff to go through.
Oh man.
Oh, you should have gone
All
first.
right.
Yeah, so
Y'all got time? We're gonna pick the news up in an hour.
It's okay. I did nothing again, so it'll make up for it.
Hey, guys, you want to know what sucks?
Getting sick,
Yeah, you want to know what doesn't suck?
not working.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I took some time off work because I was homesick, and I actually got to catch up on a few things. I finally started Demon Slayer.
Hell yeah.
That's the biggest thing I wanted to talk
okay.
about because that anime freaking rules.
I've
That
heard
is-
that from a
I
lot
hear
of
it's
people.
popular.
I'm 17 episodes in. I'm almost done with the season, and then I could watch Mugen Train, which is the new movie that came out
Bless you.
recently. So yeah, Demon Slayer, highly recommend it. Really good. I remember my friend Inga from Adults Talking Anime Plus. She said the first 3 episodes are a little bit of a slog. I kind of agree that, or they're not a slog. It's just that you see what happens, what puts the main protagonist Tanjiro onto the road to become a demon slayer. It's just it's a little bit long, but it's not too bad. I still highly enjoy the show. The animation and the fight scenes are gorgeous.
That's awesome. I have to say, like, having watched a few anime consistently, thanks to my group's anime night over the past year, most anime, I feel like the first 3 episodes, rarely do I feel like a show grabs me right at the first. Like, it feels like they always need a bit of an ease in. Like, I'm just thinking the most recent one we watched, Vivi, like, I did not get into it until the end of the 3rd episode. But I think, like, even the ones I've really enjoyed, usually it took a couple episodes. So that's kind of par for the course of anime, I think.
Right.
Unless you're already like really aware of a concept later or something. I think that's generally just how it goes.
Yeah, but Demon Slayer was definitely one of those animes because I was watching it with Fanny. So for her, she's rewatching it. She's watching with me, and it just got to another episode. I'm like, what time is it? Okay, let's just go one more. What time is it? No, let's just go another one. I was like, and the episode ends. It's like, no, I need to know what happens. One more episode. Screw it. Let's just go one more. It's definitely just one more before bed. When one more turns into like 3 more.
I love it.
So highly recommend it. Besides Demon Slayer, I also finally got back into Super Mario 64. I am
Let's
almost
go.
done beating that game.
How many stars?
112.
Oh, you're actually almost
I'm
there.
on,
You're right.
I'm on the last. I'm getting the last secret star of the castle, and I'm on World 15, which is Rainbow Ridge. Holy shit! I hate the flying.
Yeah.
I freaking hate the flying cap. I know it's on the cover, it's on the box, it's one of the big things when the game was coming out. It's like you could fly around, it's really cool. You only do it in a few levels, but god damn do I hate the
GD?
I just hate it. I really do. I'm trying to get the last secret star, and I'm like, I cannot get this goddamn star to
You'll get
save
it.
my
You're
life.
a gamer, Ben. I believe.
I mean, I will eventually, but it was one of those times where I just had to stop and play a different game, which was Metroid Samus Returns, because I'm trying to go through all the Metroid games before Dread comes out in October. Almost done with that one. Metroid Samus Returns. Beautiful. Love that game.
Do you guys remember? Sorry, you saying "goddamn" reminded me of something. Do you guys remember when TV would edit movies and remove "God" and not "damn"? So it'd be "damn."
You want to?
Yes.
Yes.
I was in the car getting my comic books, and we were listening to Fanny and I were listening to Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
And the song
I
Love.
love Dua Lipa.
Yeah, you know the song Love Again, where she says, "God damn, you got me in love again."
Yeah.
She told me, she's like, you know what? If one of this song plays on the radio, they don't say "God damn."
Yeah. That's America for you.
Well, it's it's weird. Some stations will and some stations won't. It's really
Anyway,
freaking
sorry,
weird.
Ben. I just Go ahead.
But yeah, Mario 64 made a lot of headway. I'm on the last world, so I'm this close to beating it. And I did a Twitter poll saying, "Hey, should I beat Mario first or Metroid first?" They said Mario first, so I'm like, "Okay, gotta beat Mario first."
They were right.
I will do that and then move on to Metroid. Besides that, also like Brandon said, I wrote my Sonic the Hedgehog thing that's up on oldschoolgamermagazine.com right now. And yesterday, thanks to like gaming Twitter, retro gaming Twitter, I got onto one of my friends from Australia's stream. It's
Yes, that's right.
Alisai AU. She's all the way down in Australia.
Oh, wait.
So for her, it was 5 o'clock in the evening, but for me, it was midnight. But I got to play Mario Kart 8 with her and a bunch of her fellow streamers.
Don't you mean the cart?
Yeah.
The cart?
I did a really stupid thing on my Instagram stories. I know.
The cat.
Yeah.
I'll show you how we play the cart
No.
in America.
I gotta tell you, Ben. I jumped in briefly to see you play, and you were having problems.
I was having a lot
so
of
I was
problems.
like, I'll come back when it's fixed. I guess.
So the good news is I did make a complete idiot of myself. I did win a few races.
Nice.
I won a few races. I even placed one in one of the cups that we had. But damn, I'm rusty.
Yeah,
that's
hey,
fair.
man.
And also the first cup that like when she opened up the room so we could all all our Mii's are in the waiting room. She decided, because originally I was like, oh, we're gonna do 100 or 150 cc's. No, she's like, first cup 200 cc race.
Oh, you got to get good.
No, I was not good. I was very far away from good.
You got there though.
Sarah and I pretty much play it exclusively on 150.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is that I don't know.
no, that's good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 150 is
Go us.
150 is one of the fastest ones.
Cool.
Yeah. But so I did that and I really enjoyed it, and I might be doing that again. I don't know if it's gonna be I don't know it's gonna happen this weekend, but eventually, because it was really fun and I really had a good time.
Nice.
Awesome.
And it was also the app right before I left. They're like, "Hey, bring more Americans." So even they were kind of even
Hello.
trash talking me a little. They were trash talking me because it was everyone else was from Australia, and for the longest time there was like this one solo American flag, and they're like, "Hey, Ben, you want to change that flag and come to Australia?" And I'm like, "Maybe."
Hey man, I'll get me a Nintendo OLED Switch.
If you go to
No.
Australia, we're not postponing this podcast for you.
No, that's fine.
He'll be
not
in the future.
on a 12-hour.
No, well, we record on Sunday. It'll be a Monday for me
That's amazing.
if I'm in Australia.
Time zones be wild, y'all.
Yeah, so pretty much that's all I did. I went and got my comic books today. I got an even bigger stack to add to my already big ass stack at home. So
Mhm.
yay!
I feel you.
That's the way it goes.
But I got my comics. I've been wanting to get those for a while. I also read the Sonic the Hedgehog 30th anniversary special. That's a really good book. It's really fun. Ian Flynn's story in it, The Seasons of Chaos, the main story in the book is really cute, really good. Highly recommend it. And that's about it.
All right.
Beautiful.
Ryan?
I'm gonna pull my notes up because I actually took notes, but that doesn't mean I did a lot. Hold on, I'm just forgetful. How do notes work, y'all? Here we are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 video games on here, but they're all for very short periods of time. I played the tutorial of Sea of Thieves because that's a game that's kind of like a live service game that's been updated for years and years and years. And there was somebody on Twitter that I was going to play with, and we ended up not playing, but I wanted to get into it just, so I was ready if we did play it. And that game's really charming. It has a really great tutorial. And you're talking to like a sea ghost, and he's like, here's how you do your ship stuff. And I'm like, that's great. So I'm probably going to get into Sea of Thieves a little bit more. It is like a multiplayer centric game. Like you can do solo stuff, but it's just not fun being a pirate by yourself, I played 2 hours. This is the big one. I played 2 hours of Transformers Devastation. That game is awesome. That game is just a Bayonetta, Devil May Cry like action adventure game. You can pick what robots you want. You can be Grimlock or like a Sideswipe or Bing Bong or Tail Swipe or whatever.
I'm stoked. I just got that for my Xbox.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
excited.
I got that. That was the first PS Plus game I got.
Yep. And
I had no idea how PlayStation Plus worked, and it's like download. I was like, do I have to pay for this? And then the email came up. I'm like, oh shit, how much I spend? And so I saw $0.00.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, PS Plus is great. But yeah, that game's like I looked it up and like it's like a 6 to 8 hour game, so I can beat that game real easy. That's a problem I have with games nowadays, like new games. Like I really like playing games, but like I just can't. Not every game can be The Witcher. Like if you're gonna be 100 hours, the quality has to be there, and for a lot of
100%.
times, it's just not there. So it's nice to have a game that's just like 6 hours.
I definitely
long.
want to have a pause menu conversation about like the struggle to
Oh my
keep
God.
up with games or get
Dude,
into games because
We're not
because
gonna-
like
yeah.
this was a Waypoint like. Rob Zachney like recently talked about this on Waypoint where he's like it's real tough when like you know you've got that first like you're chasing the high of the first 4 hours of the game for like 12 more hours of game where you're just kind of like
So like
and it's like it's content I guess
and that's exactly the thing. Like every RPG wants to be The Witcher, but the thing is
Sure.
like The Witcher took like 5 years to make, and like everything is like important.
Yeah.
Or not only that, just trying to find time to play games. Do you know
Yes.
how happy I was? I played a little Knockout City with you guys this weekend. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And I played Fortnite with you guys too.
A little bit.
Yeah, I
little
played a little bit of Fortnite. Do you know how happy I was to actually give time to video games this week?
Yeah, no, it was
I would,
great.
Yeah.
normally the only day I'm able to give to video games is Saturday
Give
and
thanks.
today. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's what I do most of my Sundays is like catch up for stuff for this podcast. So I did 2 hours of Transformers Devastation. That game is super fun, and I'm definitely gonna probably beat that game. I played 30 minutes of the PlayStation 2 Ghost Rider video game.
Oh my gosh.
Did you guys know that even existed? Because
Yes,
I
I
didn't.
remember this.
I didn't.
I remember.
Why?
Because I might be working on a video series.
Okay, then.
30 minutes of Ghost Rider PlayStation 2. That game's a God of War clone. Like literally, like when you get experience, you hold down the experience bar to fill up a bar to level up, and that's what you
Makes
do in God of
sense.
War. And I'm like,
Ah.
yeah, you hit square and you do a chain attack, and like it's not terrible, but it's not great. It's like totally just fine.
So would you say mediocre?
I would say it's like a 6 to a 7, but I'm also only at the beginning, so like
True.
it could get way worse.
True.
I played 10 minutes of X-Men Legends. That's just to make sure that it worked on my computer. That's a game from like 2001. It looks like a game from 2001.
I remember X-Men Legends.
X-Men
Nice.
Legends 2 actually have played more recently. That game definitely holds up better than X-Men Legends 1. I played 1 hour of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 because I was on the PlayStation Store just looking up deals because I buy games all the time that I'm never going to play. And there was a big sale on the Xenoverse 2 stuff, and it says I purchased a lot of it already. And I remember, I played this game like a year and a half ago for like 20 hours. And I have all of this Dragon Ball Super DLC that I never touched. So I just spent an hour just like playing as like Ribiet and like Jiren and Super Saiyan Ultra Goku or Instinct Goku, just like doing some what if Frieza took over the Ginyu Force, or what if this and that. And that game's really fun. So I'm probably gonna get more into that because there's a lot of DLC. And then I played, oh my god, that's it. Fortnite and Avengers, obviously. I read X-Men #1. That's a good comic.
I just got that today.
It's a good comic. I wouldn't say it's a great comic. I think it's a good comic.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's me.
Sparks?
Yeah. I also made some time for games, so that was mostly Fortnite and Knockout City, and I like stepped into Fall Guys for a second because the season ended. So I was like, oh, I just want to like check in real quick because the season's over.
Yep.
As of today. But yeah. A lot of what I did is that Megan and I finished Schitt's Creek.
Nice.
I'm gonna talk about Schitt's Creek because I haven't really done that. I've been saying like, oh, I've been watching Schitt's Creek. And I didn't really have anything specific to say about it other than like it's an enjoyable sitcom. It's a cool show. I took for granted what that show was doing, which was made clear to me by when you finish the show, there's a special on Netflix that's about 40 minutes that just talks about the show from the cast, from the people behind it. And it's a little mini documentary as they were finishing the show that's just talking about how the show kind of like was good, but how it bloomed up into popularity out of nowhere while it was in production. And I took for granted why that show was so relevant for people, which is that in the context of the show, technically homophobia doesn't exist. There are characters, and like what that really means is that there are characters who are constantly and directly engaging in plot lines of bisexuality or queerness or anything in that realm. And absolutely no character who ever appears on screen engages in or ever references that would be unusual. Zero, not a one. No character, side character, main character, no character engages in thinking that any of that is out of the ordinary ever. Even the main character, one of the main characters, David, who is bisexual. I don't even know if that would actually be the right term. I think it might actually be more pansexual than bisexual, but the relevant part is that David is implied to have a past of mistreatment, but it's still on the level where it's like the amount that any person would be bullied by other people. Like, just if you were bullied, there is no actual designation to say. Like, you can certainly infer if you want, but you're projecting it. But the show is not telling you he was bullied because of his
Sexuality.
right. And that was really important because that created a show where all of these people were allowed to just be themselves and engage entirely in that dynamic throughout the entire run of the show. And it never actually, like, it was a better show by just showing them be people. Their sexuality and all of that was never a defining part of their arcs ever, because it was never controversial in their past or in their present. And that, when that was made clear to me, was wild. And watching that documentary, I was like, oh yeah, that is what the show was doing the whole time. So like, the show gets a lot of credit for creating a world where homophobia doesn't exist. And that is what it does. Even though that wasn't like necessarily the mindset was just show them being people. But it created this, like, this is what the world could be, guys. It's a really good show. For that, just even with that aside, I think it's incredible. They do another thing that I think is really cool, where Dan Levy, who plays David and is Eugene Levy's son, he's the main spearhead behind the show. He talked about how, in his mind, building the characters, the absolute second thing he thought about was wardrobe. Wardrobe was the most important secondary aspect to storytelling on the show. And thinking back and the clips that they show in the documentary, that actually made a lot of sense. Everybody's outfits were always so carefully chosen. Literally every single character's outfits were so carefully chosen to represent the way they felt that day. What they were, who they were, why they chose that outfit was always talked about and thought about. And like, I did look at it and go, I never have thought about wardrobe in that way with other series. And like, that's something where, like, just like thinking in terms of the MCU, like, they don't think about that. They don't think about, like, why is the character wearing this today?
Everything is like deliberate.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fact that those things, like, when you think about it from that lens, it's like, yes, this is absolutely informing on this person. Like, you know, even if it's a reused outfit, it's a reused outfit for a choice. That's pretty wild. And I think that really, I don't want you to watch the documentary before you watch the show, because you shouldn't. But I do think, like, having those two pieces of knowledge going into the show are valuable things to be thinking about those things as you're watching it. I kind of wish I had known those two things. So if you're going to watch Schitt's Creek, pay attention to wardrobe, think about why they made those choices, and just recognize that, like, these are characters who are allowed to just be themselves entirely without any actual controversy over who they are in that way. And that's right. Really precious and valuable. So Schitt's Creek, really worth your time. Really enjoyed it.
That's cool.
I know a lot of people love that show. Yeah.
Ryan, we also watched Superman and Lois this week.
I wish we could have watched more.
Yeah, I do too. It was a good episode, though.
It was. Again, like, man, real quick. There's the Brandon, you've seen the show. I don't know if you're caught up, but you've seen the show.
He's ahead of us.
Okay, so you know Kyle, like the husband.
Yes.
They do it. They always do this thing in these shows where I'm like, man, I don't like this character, but then like they do a thing to like humanize it. And I'm like, oh, but like I see where he's coming from, and I'm like, oh my god, like he's still a jerk, but like he's like a real life jerk. Where like he has like layers, and I'm like, I even care about the conservative jerk dad on this show. Like I can't believe it. Like I really can't believe how good this. And I hate saying this every week, but like a CW Superman show, like it's just higher quality than anything else than they're making.
Sure.
And I'm so happy to have that show. So happy.
Yes, absolutely. We only watched one episode because we were actually watching another show, which we watched 2 episodes of this week because we were catching up from last week, which is called Motherland Fort Salem,
Hell
Nice.
yes.
which we will sing the praises of all the time, guys, all the time.
Forever.
You're probably going to hate it by the time you finally watch it because we definitely talk about it too much, but I
It'll be canceled by the time they watch.
love this show.
Yeah, it's again just super inventive, super great. Like all the new characters are super great. Like they've introduced like a Defense of the Dark Arts it's like type teacher who just like doesn't mind torturing her students. And I'm just like, man, this is just wild. It's just wild.
We were literally watching the second episode, and I was talking about how like it's still kind of hard for me to get on board with one of these characters who we were shown like doing something really horrible in the very first minutes of the first episode of season 1. And like, we're supposed to kind of be rooting for them now. And then like minutes after I said that, they're like, here, we're going to have that character directly confront that. And I'm like,
literally,
right, show, you got
literally
me.
minutes later.
All
it's
right,
like
show.
her going to the
You
site,
got me.
her going to the site where she did a terrorism and like reflecting on it and like, oh, maybe this was bad. And I'm like, oh my God, the show's great.
So Motherland Fort Salem, you should be watching.
Yo, so they used vocal cords for like to do spells, right? Like different octaves and tones and stuff. Their ancient enemy who has returned, the Camarilla, take their vocal cords and use those to make weapons out of. And I'm just like, this show is just crazy.
That sounds really cool.
It's a really cool show.
Yeah, the fact that I got a season 2, like I'm shocked. Like I thought the show would get canceled.
I promise you, like no matter what, when you watch this, you will spend maybe 1 or 2 episodes in this show, and you will go, I want a comic book. I want a movie. I want to know the past. I want prequels. I want
the world building.
The world building is
insane.
so good, and you're like, I need more and quick, and we're not there yet. And I hope that even if this show gets canceled, I hope that this idea gets to live on through so many different mediums because it should.
We talked about like this is not the same type of show, but like Lovecraft Country season 2 had like an alternate history, United States. That's what this show is, but not with like the racism stuff.
In the intro for every episode of the show, they show you the map. After they show some like historical images from like how things evolved from Salem into the American Revolution. And then they show you a map, and there's this whole section, just this line down like just off center of the United States that's called the Session. And it's literally just like a deserted Badlands because of magic.
Like a bad shit happened there, and then it just divides the country and nobody goes there anymore. And like, but what happened? Like
Right.
they always talk about it, but it's just like a mystery.
Literally every episode you see it.
It's just a great show.
It's
man.
crazy.
And nobody's watching it. It makes me so happy it exists.
Yeah, but we watched Loki.
I have the Luna now.
Yeah, she moved. We watched Loki. You can hear about that. There's a lot to say about it. Fortnite, Knockout City.
One second,
all
you
that
guys hear?
stuff.
Do you hear that? All aboard
I
the
know
Cane
what
train.
I know what train we're on.
On the Cane train.
Glorious purpose.
That's
And
the
then-
episode title.
No, it's Journey into Mystery.
Oh, okay.
But
I did
Glorious purpose.
I did a little bit of CW catch up, which is still catch up because only Batwoman has actually ended, which is weird because we're in July and that doesn't usually happen with the CW shows, but they are technically all still going, except for Batwoman.
Oh, I'm gonna check out the Flash's 150th episode. I saw
Oh,
Jake
nice.
Harris in it. I want to check it out.
Cool,
Wow,
man.
150.
You'll probably be confused about some things and
Yeah, but,
probably okay with others, I
It's
guess.
nice to see Jake Garrick.
No, yeah, for sure. Like I'm glad. I'm actually really glad they're bringing back Nora in that episode.
Oh, are
Nora. Honestly, I think the more I think about it and look back, like outside of Flash's first season, honestly, I think the season revolving around Nora might be my favorite.
Nora's great. I was watching a show called Black Sails, and Nora is one of the main characters on that show, actually.
Yeah. I just really liked her on that show. I thought that she actually added a lot as a
liked
character.
her
For
too.
someone who when she started, I felt like she was a really big CWE gimmick. It turned out to not really land that way for me. In fact, I would go so far as to say Nora's whole arc on the show made me believe in Barry and Iris's relationship in a way I never had before.
What's the other cop lady that I really, really liked? What's her name?
Oh, from season 2.
Yeah.
Me too.
Stacy?
No.
That's
You
Stacey.
guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like the best, like,
The clearly should have stuck around. They're like, well, we got to get her off the show
Yeah,
quick
yeah,
because
yeah.
the chemistry's too good.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
shame.
Yeah, that sucked.
I hope she bounced back from that.
I think
Yeah.
the worst thing about it is that like that was a great character and they used her for those few episodes and they never brought her back. All these freaking characters in the Arrowverse that come back. And anyway, most of what I watched was catching up on Supergirl because Supergirl had this big 2-parter thing. And I have to say, this is where, unfortunately, Supergirl has started to get a little too CW for me.
I've heard some bad things.
It finally happened, unfortunately, in their last season. Towards the middle, I think they finally started to dip into like the worst kind of writing for the show, which I'm really hoping it kind of like dips down, pulls back up before they hit the finale.
But yeah, don't end on a bad note.
Which we're not there yet. This is only episode 6 or something. This has a lot to do with going back into the past. There's just some really not great dialogue choices for certain characters that don't make sense, and weird moments that I don't feel connected to anymore because I don't feel like they're earned with the characters that they're portraying them with. And they brought in a young Cat Grant who's played by someone else, and she just feels too stupid.
Is this like a time travel thing?
They have to go back into the
You don't have to get into it, but it's like I just
they have to go. They have to go back to the past. Okay. They use Brainy's ship from the Legion to travel to the past. It's a two-parter thing, and Cat Grant. That's where I'm at right now, and Cat Grant is just so dumb. And it's like it's a shame because the actor playing her is doing a good job of actually like playing a younger version of the character that they created in that in
Callista Flockhart, right?
Yeah,
I like her.
But the writing is so like, this is too stupid
Aww.
for that person. It also doesn't. It's also like, I understand why, but like it's weird that this actor is so young, because I'm like, this is only like 8 years ago
she's not
from the beginning of the show.
She's pretty old.
This is an X-Men thing, like, oh, you turn into
and
Ian
like
McKellen.
she's like she looks like 30 years younger, and I'm like, this is like 8 years before Supergirl started, but okay. So I don't know. It's kind of a bummer. I'm hoping that it pulls up before the end.
Flies up.
That's kind of my last thing that I have to say about my week, though.
Whoop whoop.
All right, shall we get into our news?
Why not?
Bread, butter.
Book club. Nope, our bread and butter.
Oh, I know.
Oh no.
Okay, now you can say
Now.
something.
Now you can say it.
Okay, real quick though, because we're gonna talk about Black Widow later, but we watched that Marvel Legends thing.
Oh.
And if you've watched those Marvel Legends things where they do the recap of the characters, boy does that Black Widow one really like, it doesn't sit so good
It's a stinker. It's a stinker, y'all.
for a lot of reasons. We'll get into it.
All right. Bread and butter time. We're in the bread and butter. I already did the thing. I'm not going to do it again. So,
Not do it again.
all right.
Do it.
No,
Don't
Hold
do
on.
it.
No,
Do it.
it's going. It's happening. I'm not going to do it. All right. Anyway, so we have some sad news up top.
Yes, of course.
Robson Rocha, an artist for DC Comics, passed away today.
Yes, this brand new news.
Yeah, this happened just earlier today. He did a lot with the New 52 and Rebirth. He did Green Lanterns when Rebirth started. He's done since on Aquaman. He's a great artist.
Yeah.
No age was given. I do not know how old he was, but he passed away.
He's on the younger side because he broke out in 2010.
Yeah, he's
is a shame.
very young.
Bummer.
But also, sadly, Richard Donner has passed away at the age of 91. Richard Donner, director of many films such as Superman.
Yep.
Also, like
Superman
like
2.
20 other incredible
like
movies.
some like an incredible legacy, but like he with Superman, with Lethal Weapon, with The Omen, with whatever, he always set the bar, and obviously more relevant to this show and people probably fans of Superman. Really, we don't have the MCU without Superman.
Well, actually, for multiple reasons, we don't have the MCU because he worked with Kevin Feige and Jeff Johns also worked with him. So like we wouldn't have
like the order of events that like more people, we all knew this before Richard Donner passed away, but like, it's definitely becoming more common knowledge is that Richard Donner and his wife were instrumental to the X-Men films happening, which is where Kevin Feige also got a big leg up in the business.
Yep.
And they all worked together on that, which in ways led to the MCU. So yes, without Richard Donner, there wouldn't be the MCU as it is. There wouldn't be a Kevin Feige as
Such
he
an
is.
incredible legacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have sadly I've seen so few of his films.
Me too.
I've never seen the Lethal Weapon movies.
Lethal Weapons 1 and 2 are stone cold classics. The Omen, I watched it for Downright Annoyed last year. That movie's great. Just a prolific director. Like he's been around for so long, and like 91, and he was still like producing stuff.
He was still going to do Lethal Weapon 5.
I cannot believe that. Like that, if that would have killed him. Like a 90-year-old director making a big action movie like that's like George Miller, man. But eat some apples, man.
he by far earned his his place.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%. And all the stories that are coming out of him just being the nicest guy. Also a goof, like with the mustache story with
Mhm.
Gene
Hackman.
Hackman. Have you heard the story?
I have not.
So Gene Hackman had a mustache, and he was like, "I'm not going to shave my mustache." And so Richard Donner had a mustache too, and he was like, "I'm gonna. How about this? How about this, Gene? We both shave our mustache." So the mustache. So he's like, "Okay, we're gonna do it because like Lex Luthor needs to not have a mustache, and if you do it, Gene, I'll do it." The solidarity.
It was a phone call because he didn't know he didn't have a mustache, and then on set he just removed his mustache.
So he shaved the mustache, and then Richard Donner just peels his mustache off because it was a fake mustache.
It's incredible.
Such a great story.
And at the time, Gene
Oh,
Hackman was like
man.
one of the biggest people in Hollywood. So
Yeah.
like to do that, I'm like, that's ballsy. I love
Yeah.
it.
That is hilarious.
He was a funny guy. He was a nice guy.
Mhm.
True legend in the industry.
Yeah.
There's the book Last Son of Krypton
Yeah.
by Jeff Johns and Richard Donner. The reason why I bought that at a Comic-Con was because it had Richard Donner's name on it. And I also feel bad because when I heard he passed away, I was like, man, that sucks. And I was like, I know he directed so many other movies besides Superman 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I just know I know he directed The Goonies. I know that's the other one. But of course, have I seen The Goonies? No. Have I seen any of his other films?
The Goonies
besides
is like the most Ben movie I think I've ever heard in my life. It's just like a bunch of kids having a cool adventure, man. Like, oh
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
know.
they are literally all nostalgia's bitch.
It's yeah.
But yet I've never
I
seen
think I've
the
seen
damn-
Monster Squad.
Yeah, everybody.
That's a good one.
I get it. I get why people like think of those things in tandem.
Yeah.
Same era.
Yeah, but for me, the only movies I sat down and watched beginning to end quite a few times are Superman and Superman 2.
And Superman 2, in the beginning, wasn't even his movie until
I
they
was
gave him
gonna
the
say.
Donner cut.
I was gonna say a lot of people like still haven't necessarily seen the Richard Donner
Yeah,
cut. So
if-
like while we're talking about all these movies, you might have seen a lot of these Richard Donner movies. But
Yeah.
if you haven't seen his cut of Superman 2, go watch his cut of Superman 2.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
Yeah, good news is the 5 Superman film collection that I have.
Mhm.
It's the Richard Donner cut. If you look on the back,
Well, it's got both cuts.
it straight up says Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut.
Right. But, and then it also has Superman 2 because that's the same set. So it's
Oh, yeah?
Superman 2
Nobody wants
and
it.
Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. They literally have every version
Oh,
of a
awesome.
Superman movie on that
But
set.
of course, which one do
Except
you
for
watch?
the 3-hour Superman, the original Superman
except for
that came out later.
the TV
Yeah,
version
yeah, the
of
TV
Superman.
version
I-
of Superman.
I just watched the video about Superman 1 and Superman 2, and the ending of Superman 1 where he flies around the world, that's the ending of Superman 2. They shot those movies back to back, and in the middle of filming 2, he was taken off production.
Yes.
It was like a Lord of the Rings like epic that they were doing, and then the studio's like, we don't like what you're doing anymore. We already made the first one and you're halfway through, so we're just going to finish making it with another director. The fact that the second movie came out and it is as good as it is without the Donner cut, like that second movie's still fine, but the Donner cut is
Right.
really like,
Mhm.
mwah, that's where the
The
yeah.
real picture.
Oh,
is.
man.
Yeah.
Also, Terrence Stamp saying, "Come here, Superman, kneel before Zod." It's
man.
always great.
there is a deleted scene where Lois Lane shoots Clark.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
And it's so smart because he thinks that she would shoot him, but he doesn't realize that she's using blanks.
Yeah.
And of course-
It's so good.
so what's interesting about that is that that's a filmed audition tape
Oh, it's so good.
that Richard Donner put it into his cut because that scene was in the script.
so
It's just
incredible.
it was never filmed. So they did the thing.
no,
It's
because
really
I
good.
saw that because I think you posted that on Twitter actually, right? Because I saw that.
a lot of
and-
these have
It's
been
like
going
the
around.
it's like the most perfect Superman moment like ever.
Well, also just watching that, it's like, man, credit to Christopher Reeve as playing both Clark Kent and Superman because his demeanor just changes.
Yeah,
The second Lois pulls the trigger, he's like, "That's Superman."
So aggressive with that snap.
Well,
It's a
it's
good
a turn. It's a turn of
Oh, I know. I love the scene too. Love
And-
Richard Donner.
Controversial, but like Christopher Reeve Superman, like man, that's what I think of when I think of
Mhm.
live action Superman.
Me
Like
too.
probably forever.
yeah,
Yeah, I really. It's
But-
91.
91.
innings, really.
Yeah, he lived a good long life.
Massive legacy.
All right. Shall we get into the other stuff?
Ooh, let's do it.
Sure.
Tamara Morrison loves sitting in his pool and talking about what's happened with the Book of Boba Fett.
I mean, if I had a big pool, I'd also do that.
That's not exactly what happened here, but
Oh, you led me astray.
it is. He does do similar things. But he did say who some of the directors are for the Book of Boba Fett. Robert Rodriguez, obviously, we knew,
Oh, sweet.
because he's developing the show.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau,
I've heard of him.
Mhm.
Bryce Dallas Howard, and Dave Filoni.
Wow, they've all worked on Star Wars.
Pretty much all the people who directed episodes of Mandalorian.
Wow, so
Great.
this show's gonna look exactly like The Mandalorian. Great,
I mean,
cool. No, it's like that's cool. That's great. It would have been cool to get like a different like look,
different set.
maybe.
There
but,
could
like,
be
whatever.
other directors that we haven't heard yet. We don't know how long the Book of Boba Fett will be,
That's true.
so maybe.
But it's awesome he's doing it though. Happy for him.
Good for Tamara Morrison.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool to play Jango Fett and then get to play Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
To get to do that full circle. That's awesome.
Yeah. And soon he'll be all the clones.
God.
All the living clones in that time period.
Yep.
That's what I'm waiting for. Like Bad Batch, cool, whatever. I give me a bunch of like Tamara
Tamara
Morrisons.
Morrisons.
Give me just like 6 of them. Come on.
Yeah. All right. You like Blade Runner? Anyone?
I've heard of it.
I'm gonna skip this then. No, I'm kidding.
That's that blade running. That's the ancient technique of mowing the lawn, right?
Yes.
No. That's Maze Runner.
No, I thought that was about corn.
I saw that movie. Blade Runner, Black Lotus. It's the Adult Swim Crunchyroll animated series.
Yeah.
So anime.
Yeah.
They announced some of the cast, and not all the cast.
Give me some names.
Jessica Henwick
Hey, she's great.
as Elle, a female replicant created for a secret and unknown purpose. She's the main
Mhm.
character.
Good for you. Good for you.
Will Yun Lee as Joseph. That doesn't matter. Samira Wiley is Alani Davis. Let me know if you recognize some of these other names.
I will.
Brian Cox, we know that name,
Beacox.
as Neander Wallace Sr., who's the founder and CEO of Wallace Corporation.
Okay.
Wes Bentley
Wes Bentley's good.
as Neander Wallace Jr.
Wes Bentley played Blackheart in Ghost Rider in 2007.
Oh yeah,
Look at that. Comes full
I
circle.
recently watched that movie.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
fine.
It's
fine.
okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
Nicolas Cage is fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, he plays Neander Wallace Jr., a brilliant scientist working for his father. Josh Duhamel.
Real quick, I think Neander Wallace Jr. I think that's Jared Leto.
Oh,
I think. I could be wrong.
well, Josh Duhamel as
we know that.
Marlowe,
We know
Josh
that guy.
Duhamel's in Blade Runner. Good for
yeah.
you.
and he plays a Blade Runner.
Oh.
He plays a deadly Blade Runner.
Sweet.
Stephen Root,
Oh, yeah.
Earl Grant, police chief of the LAPD.
Oh.
Peyton List, we know her,
Yeah.
as Josephine Grant, the wife of the police chief.
Oh,
Barkadi Abdi,
bless you.
Stock Badger. Greg Henry as Senator Bannister. Henry Cerny as Dr. M, a brilliant doctor and professor of medicine. And Jason Spisak as Hooper, a
Cool.
journalist in the pocket of the Wallace Corporation.
Nice. Does it have do you have a release date or anything?
Later this year,
Later this year.
and they did this because they're going to have a Comic-Con panel.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Comic-Con. Oh,
Comic-Con
in
at home.
November.
Oh,
Yeah,
No,
that's
the
right.
virtual
Oh.
Comic-Con next week.
Yeah, Comic-Con at home.
What? Oh, it is July, I guess.
Yeah.
Man.
The virtual Comic-Cons is not a lot, but we'll probably get a trailer for this maybe.
Sweet. That's
Probably.
awesome. I'm pretty sure this is the Ghost in the Shell guy making this one. I think that's right.
Mhm.
Either way, I'm still
I've seen a lot of buzz about like what's coming at Comic-Con at home. This Blade Runner stuff sounds great, by the way. Yeah. But there's really only one thing I cared about that was announced is coming to Comic-Con at home this week. The only thing I care about.
Is it Shark Week?
No, it's the Dragon Ball Super movie announcement.
That's right.
Ah.
You're
It
announcing
is.
something?
They're going to supposedly. I'm
Toei-
certain they're revealing
Toei
the trailer.
Animation.
Yeah.
Toei Animation is going to Comic-Con. Oh, I'm so excited. And they said it's the next Super movie.
Yeah, they've made it clear that they're talking about the next Super movie.
All right. All right.
I'm into it.
We're going to get a trailer for this probably.
Here we
100%. Like, there's no way that we're not
If it's
finding
coming
out
out
like what
maybe
it's about.
like next year. Yeah.
Something is killing the children.
What is?
Did you know what it is?
No, never read the book.
Oh.
Not the. So this is the James Tinian Werther del Adara.
Yep.
Their comic book, Something is Killing the Children from Boom Studios. Mike Flanagan and Trevor Macy will develop a Netflix series based on the comic. Flanagan and Macy will co-write the pilot, and Macy. Oh wait, hold on. Tinian and Del Adara are co-executive producers with other executive producers.
Mhm.
Netflix has not committed to a series yet, so they're just going to write the pilot, direct a pilot. Netflix is going to see if they want it.
They'll want it.
They probably want it.
Yeah.
And then Macy, if they do pick it up, Macy will be the showrunner and not Flanagan for the first time since those two have paired up.
Yeah. This is the Hill House guys and
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep. Yeah. So I am reading this book. It is on issue 16.
Yep.
I'm still picking it up, but I stopped reading it like 7 months ago. Not for lack of quality, just I stopped reading comics at a point in
Right.
my life.
Mhm. I'm in the same boat as you.
This is What If Buffy. This is his take on Buffy.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's got a great art style.
I was really happy to have jumped in on this the moment that it hit. I was like, I think I'm gonna want to read this one.
Yeah.
So I picked it up right when it had dropped.
Tinian he's doing so much good stuff right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Good for that guy. Yeah, this is great. Great. We could use more Buffy shows, more Buffy stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, even though I haven't read the comic.
Book club.
Especially because we can do the first episode, first volume.
Mhm.
What'd you just do with that chocolate wrapper?
Oh, that's not a wrapper. It's on my lap.
Oh, okay.
It was bothering me.
It's disappeared.
It's a magic trick, Sparks. It's gone forever.
Okay.
I gave it to Luna. All right.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
You remember the old TV show on Fox with the guy from Boston Legal, Human Target?
This is so
Jackie
wild.
Jackie Hurley Haley.
Man, television and comics are so funny.
That was a crazy show.
Yeah. Last 2 seasons.
Did anyone know that was a DC comic book though?
Yes.
I mean, I did.
I mean, you guys are nerds. That show
No,
is not
most people
related.
didn't.
That show is not related to DC Comics whatsoever.
No.
That's what I mean.
But yes, it is based off a comic book, and the character in the comic is coming back for a new series. Tom King and Greg Smallwood are partnering together for a new series for the Black Label that will bring back the second Human Target, which is the main Human Target now, one in the show, Christopher Chance. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Christopher Chance has appeared once on
Arrow.
So the interesting thing, like this, he's like a super spy dude, but the cover is implicating that like it's going to involve Justice League International stuff from the 1980s, which is the era he's from. So like this is going to be maybe a more superhero tied book than like it's a like original thing, which is fine. You know,
It was generally a Vertigo character.
Yeah, like kind of offshoot stuff. But like if they want to do the Tom King Black Label thing, that's a winner. It's always a winner.
Yeah. He's knocked it out with Mr. Miracle and Adam Strange, and now here he comes.
Greg Smallwood is a terrific artist. He's done a lot of Marvel stuff. I think this is his first big DC thing, which is nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
I talked a bit about Batman: The Long Halloween. This is its 20th anniversary. This year is the 20th anniversary of the comic book.
Well, Ben's been a fan of that comic for over 20 years, so
yeah. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale to
Ben.
commemorate the 20th anniversary of the book will partner together on October 12th, 2020 to release a special one-shot that will continue the story.
what does that mean?
So
Don't know.
Ben, you said before when you heard about this news, like you don't know if you need this. Like it doesn't need a sequel,
Yeah.
and I 100% agree.
It doesn't, because the Long Halloween, it's 12 issues. It's already a maxi series, but
Now it's 13.
Yeah. I see
really don't like that.
what I think it's gonna be like a retrospective of that event. And it's gonna be like maybe like some new information popped up to help with the case, or just something to be like, oh, this happened sometime in my past. I don't think it's gonna be like an actual sequel because it's a one shot. So how
Yeah.
much can really happen in a
True.
one shot?
it
About
could be.
$7.99.
It could be.
Oh,
It
you're
could
right.
be. That's a beefy one shot. It could be Batman just like going through and finding out that Gilda was one of the Halloween killer or holiday killers.
I definitely remember that book. I'm watching the movie. I
mean,
look, Jeff Loeb has had a rough couple of years because a lot of allegations come out
Yeah.
from him from the Marvel TV
Also, just
division.
his modern comics are not what they are. They're not.
Yeah, so
So
it's-
to his
it's-
older stuff.
It's kind of weird. Like, why do we need a new Jeff Loeb book?
I'm
Why do we need to be
definitely
the
definitely
Halloween?
nervous about it because of like exactly what you're bringing up, which is that like Jeff Loeb has written some of my favorite comics.
20 years ago.
Like 20 years ago,
Yeah.
he had a personal tragedy, and then he didn't write the same,
Yeah.
and that sucks. But that's what happened, and since then, his creative decisions have not been awesome all the time, and and certainly when it comes to something where I'm like, I don't think this is needed. I don't know why we're doing this.
And you guys know Long Halloween's my all-time favorite Batman story. I love that book to death.
Right.
But I mean, I'm happy they're doing something to celebrate 20 years of this amazing story. But at the same time, it's like I don't need to act like when they call it a sequel, it kind of puts chills down my spine. It's like I don't want you to do this.
But they say
that
continue the story.
I get the
Yeah.
same. I get the same vibes as if they said all the same stuff about For All Seasons. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I don't. Why
Now the
Yeah.
only thing that I have to counter that is new Tim Sale art
True.
because
For
we
sure.
haven't gotten that in a long time.
That is that's probably going to be the only reason why I'm going to pick this book up in the first place is to support Tim Sale's art. Because as
Yeah.
you said, Jeff Loeb's allegations over the past few years have not been the brightest thing on that record, but bloody hell, that art in Long Halloween is still gorgeous.
But that's a good point. Is like I'd be more down. I think for just Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale to celebrate the 20 years of
like
Long
a
Halloween
are
doing
collection.
are just doing a one shot that it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with it. They're just doing a one shot story that they decided to get back together on to just celebrate the fact of their work on
Yeah.
Batman, but
Mhm.
not necessarily to connect to
And they
it
can,
or
like,
build on
mention-
it or add to it
And they
or
can
anything. They're just
mention,
doing something wholly just here's this one moment that we decided we wanted to do in celebration of that great thing we did
Now
back then.
we could be blowing this up a little more than it actually is. It could be like a really small story, but like it
could.
when you say we're doing a sequel to the Long Halloween, obviously it gives us pause.
A continuation.
Yeah. And also in a one shot. I mean, I don't know if I would feel better if they were doing like another 12-issue maxi series.
Oh
but-
hell no!
Yeah,
I would feel worse.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want this like whatsoever.
true.
But like I think a one shot might be the best bet.
It's weird because I know the Long Halloween isn't perfect, but to me, it's like that is a story that
It's
has
still
a,
great,
a
man. That's
perfect
still great
beginning,
story.
middle, and end, and
Yeah.
you don't need to add anything else to it.
Well,
Yeah.
now you
It's-
do.
It's perfect in the sense that like in the sense of like the containment that it was.
Yeah,
Like whatever flaws it may have, like
Sounds like the
it's
Watchmen
contained
conversation.
to its time and is its own thing. There's no need to
Well, but we have
contribute more to it.
so the sequel to Long Halloween is Dark Victory.
true.
Like there is a sequel to Long
You're
Halloween.
very true, or you're very right.
Right, and that's a good point, and that's that's a whole different egg to crack open and all that kind of thing. And again, like it's just kind of like you want to tell me Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale want to do a little Batman thing, just celebrating the fact that they did the Long Halloween. I'd be like, cool. It's
Mhm.
the continuation, the sequel part of it.
Yeah.
We're gonna reopen that story
Exactly,
for
'cause
a
it's
brief
like-
moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
That's
don't
what-
need you to.
that's
I'm
what
really
re-
happy with where it left off.
Yeah, that's what really rubs me the wrong way. It's like we're gonna continue. It's like you don't
'Cause
need to.
It's
You-
like, what did you miss in the story last time, Batman? And I'm like, but then it takes away from that story if you didn't solve it right, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. See, like doing it, like I mentioned, doing a sequel, Dark Victory. It's
The-
not a Long Halloween 2. It's Dark Victory. This would be like the Holiday Killer is probably still out there, and we missed him, and
That's-
blah blah blah.
that's
The
a
risk,
sucks, yeah.
the risk reward is too great. Like the risk
Yeah.
is too high for what little reward I feel is on the table.
Yeah.
yeah. But once again, bright side. Brian said it earlier. More Tim Sale art.
yeah, I just wish it could have been.
Look, man, if somebody tells me, boy, you don't want to read it, I'm gonna be like, all right, I don't want to read it.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
Yeah.
wait for reviews for sure.
move on.
Yeah.
We're all excited for Visions, the new Star Wars series.
Yes, we are.
Thomas Schill, I love him.
There is a new Star Wars book coming out that got me excited. Star Wars Ronin, a Visions novel by Emma Mako Candon. This will be out October 12th. This story is set in the world of the Duel, which we talked about last week
Mhm.
when we broke down a lot of those.
The Star
Vision
Wars
stories.
anime.
Yeah,
So I listened to it. The Duel. That's the one that Studio Trigger is doing, or one of the ones that Studio Trigger is doing, because
Yep.
I know they're doing two of them.
yes,
Right?
I
Okay.
believe so.
Cool.
So this is set in the world of the Duel, and will tell the story of a former unnamed Sith known only as a Ronin, i.e., a wandering samurai, as he travels the galaxy.
Sweet.
This
Sounds
is
really cool.
This is so cool because it's not just like a new Star Wars story; it's an Elseworld Star Wars story.
Yeah.
It's they're fully going into like what if territory. Like they're not being precious about the stuff anymore, which is great. Like you can just do whatever you want now. Like we've reached a point where we're getting a bunch of Star Wars anime and manga and books, and I'm like, I can't believe it.
You know, this is kind of is. It's
Yeah.
kind of Legends again.
It is 100%.
It's the Star Wars legacy stuff where Disney's like, F it, do whatever you
But
want.
it's real Legends.
I mean, but
What is real Legends?
the Duel.
Yes.
So what we talked about last week, Star Wars Visions already excited me with the content, with the creators on it, and the fact that all those projects sounded really cool. So like being able to hearing that they were like, we really were excited about this world and we wanted to do more in it, so we made this novel, got me really even more excited. Like I'm like, yeah, okay, so there's potential that these worlds could exist in different mediums, like all of Star Wars does.
Mhm.
I think that's cool.
I'm just happy we're getting more awesome Star Wars shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, the second I heard Star Wars anime, I'm like,
And it's great
Done.
that again, like they're just pumping out books. Like they're not afraid to pump books out.
I really want the time to actually like do the High Republic stuff because I've only heard good things.
I'm picking them up, and people seem to really like it.
Yeah.
oh, I don't
Yeah,
think that
I
was
got
in my
the-
pull list.
Got the trade
I
coming.
gotta.
Oh man,
I'm picking up.
I'm thinking just the novels too because I've
Yeah.
heard good things from
Yeah.
the novels that are going
Charles
out.
Soule,
too.
yeah.
I'm picking up the single issues, and I think I'm a few books behind. What was the last one that came out? 5? Because I have up to 4.
I don't know. I'm not paying attention to High Republic right now.
No, well, I'll
they're just in my pull list.
Oh,
I
well.
honestly have lost track between like what number High Republic
'Cause there's
and
also,
High
like-
Republic Adventures.
There's
is
also
at.
like other series. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I have to,
Anyway.
Frankenstein strip.
Anyway,
Apparently, the bounty hunter stuff that's happening in the Star Wars books right now is radical.
Oh yeah, because it's Kira.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
apparently it's crazy.
Like apparently all those books are super cool, and it's just like a giant bounty hunter war.
Yes.
I
They brought Kira into the Star Wars stuff that's happening pre Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, damn.
I'm picking the
okay.
trade up. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like the story when they first announced it was like, oh, this is like what they did for the Star Wars books that were coming out after Empire Strikes Back because they couldn't catch Han Solo.
Mhm.
This
So they're
is-
just doing that, but as an event.
This is great,
So
but
cool.
I still kind of I still secretly want that Amelia Clark like project on Disney Plus that actually follows Crimson Dawn's shit. Do
After
it.
she's done being Abigail Brand in Secret Wars, she can do
yeah,
it.
or just do them at the same time. Like
Anyway.
be a Disney shill.
I thought it was really cool. I would have also really liked a manga because I think the visual style of that would look really cool.
Oh yeah, I heard
Hey,
you.
hey,
I heard
where's
you
that
getting
right
manga.
But they were like, here's a Star Wars manga. So Star Wars tribute to Star Wars. Is it going to be a special manga with new art? A new art book is what the article said. A new art book collecting works from 45 different illustrators. They mentioned a few of them. I don't have them written down. Just like 3 of them.
Yeah.
But it looks like mangaka.
It's
Okay.
it's going to be like prominent creators, just like the anime was, which is great because it's them going to them on the medium and asking them to put in the work on it. It does seem like some of this is going to be. This is me extrapolating from what they've put out. It does seem like it's going to be a lot of like them doing their interpretations of main moments from Star Wars.
It seems
but
like an actual
also,
like an art book. Yeah.
Yeah.
right, and it's very very much going to be leaning on the visual, but there is potential that there will also be like original moments in here
Yeah.
too.
Because you said art book, so it's not. There's no story. It's just
As far as we
just
know.
art.
We
As far
don't
as we
know.
know.
There's not enough information out.
It could
Okay.
be like a big thing of like, oh, here's like a short story and here's just some art and here's like a 2-pager and like we don't know.
It doesn't sound, Ben, I will say that it doesn't seem like what they're doing is going to all these people who create manga and asking them to create like just one page
Mhm.
of like, here, make an art thing in your style and that's it. It does seem like, we might be seeing things like where it's like panels and
Okay.
and maybe there's no dialogue, but there is telling a
Mhm.
story. And again, like some of it
What
might just
does-
be moments from the movies
Yeah.
reinterpreted, but some
Okay.
of it
Like,
might
what does
be
the
new.
Death Star look like to you? Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm still down for it.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing.
Like a giant testicle.
It's
What
just
about
cool
you?
that they're going to all these people.
Well, Ryan asked me,
Like
what
a
does
moon.
the Death Star look like to me?
Oh,
So I said,
okay.
like a giant testicle.
Well, maybe you should get glasses.
I wear contacts.
So your
You need these?
testicles now I know have a weird divot on the top part.
And are chromy?
Yeah, and a crater in the middle.
Stick
And
in.
you have tiny chips
Let's all
just
laugh at the
flying,
freak.
flying around. I think that's lice.
You brought it up.
That reminds me of a community joke, sorry.
You hit it in the right hole, the whole thing blows.
Well, yeah. It's usually how
Boy,
it
that's
goes.
true. All right. Speaking of the superpowers that my girlfriend has.
Oh Lord.
Nobody was here for that.
All right. Anyway, we all like the boys.
I enjoy the boys. Yes.
All right.
Girls get it done too.
All right. Okay. Amazon has launched a VNN web series, Vault News Network, called 7 on 7. This stars Matthew Edison as Cameron Coleman, who is an anchor for Vault News, and will come out on the 7th of every month, and will drop hints that lead into season 3. Each episode will be 7 minutes long with 7 news stories.
So
Cool.
Wow.
So The Boys season 3 is coming out in 7 months, and on the 7th we're getting a 7-minute episode about the 7.
Yes.
Cool.
And every seventh month,
I'm having an aneurysm.
Every
Every
seventh
seventh
day
day
for 7 months.
for 7 months.
We'll
Yo,
get
the
a new
666
news thing.
people are going crazy.
That's cool. This immediately made me think of the like not very often talked about in MCU circles, but the fake news, actual fake news videos that are put up on YouTube
with the girl from
with
Iron
the
Man.
girl from Iron Man, talking about like most of it took place around Ant-Man and Civil War.
Yeah.
So it's like talking about those.
Is it Leslie
events.
Blitt?
Yeah.
Leslie Bitt, the
Yes.
blonde girl?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know this.
It's her. It's her reprising her character from Iron Man, and she has like her own network thing. There's like 7 videos
That's
of her
awesome.
talking about the events as they came out.
I'm honestly
in
kind of
Marvel.
bummed they stopped doing those.
I am too. It was a nice little like, here's just this thing as if it was, being broadcast in the world. This is how people are talking about the Civil War breakup and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. And not a lot of people know that those things are out there for the MCU, but like,
neat.
I'm really stoked that The Boys is doing something similar. That's really cool, especially because the news is Vought. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, trailers.
Duh, boys. Oh, there's one thing in news. They announced a new Nintendo Switch, and everyone's mad at it except for me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I wasn't gonna mention the OLED, but okay, cool.
I mean, I because I don't have a Switch yet.
Yeah, you don't have a
So
Switch.
like
you've got the right timing now.
yeah.
Hoping that they don't actually like shortchange you next year. They're like Nintendo Switch 2, and you're like,
no,
God damn
no,
it.
that's the thing
No, I know.
because now we're talking about it. Ben, when we talked about on our E3 thing, Inga talked about, I there's rumors that a new Switch is going to come out, and those rumors were true. It came out a couple weeks after.
Yeah.
They are still working on a Switch 2. As like a lot of you guys know, the PS5 and the Xbox One, they're out of stock because there's a chip shortage right now. And to make better consoles, you need those chips. So Nintendo's not going to put out a console that's going to be shorted. They're so much better than that, right? So they're going to release the one that has it's not as powerful, but it's a little better because they can afford to put that one.
I mean,
out.
originally when I first saw the OLED, I was kind of like, I kind of want it, but at the same time, I don't really play my Switch in handheld mode, which I feel like if you get a new Switch upgrade,
it's
because I have a very first generation Switch before they did the updated battery one, and I don't play handheld mode hardly at all. It's Fanny who plays handheld mode.
This is for handheld mode. Yeah, it is not a power upgrade. This is still 1080p. Like the only thing that's better, it has a nicer, bigger screen.
Yeah,
and for me, like I want to play games in my bed. That's great for me.
I mean,
and like if you like that, being able to prop it up so you can have the controllers here.
Oh yeah.
But you prop the screen up. It has because I always thought this was a stupid design thing on the Switch, where it has just this single kickstand that's like the side of my size of my two fingers. It's really awful.
Not only that kickstand just feels so flimsy.
Yeah,
yeah, it's awful.
It's even when
I don't trust it.
Even when I'm taking the Switch from my room to the dock to put it back, or I'm just playing my Switch for a little bit in handheld mode for the rare times I do, it constantly falls down and it hits my hand. I'm like, I have to keep like clamping it
so
together.
the OLED having finally a back that you can actually like do the thing they show in the commercials where like we're hanging out at a cafe, pop the Switch down on the table and pass your friend the controller and actually play a thing on a table like that feels more feasible with that version. So I'm glad that that's a quality of life improvement that's come.
The wired LAN support helps too.
For me,
100%.
Because when I was playing Mario Kart 8 with Ali and my Australian friends, it booted me out.
Yeah.
I haven't struggled with it much, I'll admit, because Switch is not a system I rely much on online play.
But also your internet's
but
like
the
right
few
there.
times that's true. You know, it is a bigger issue for you for sure.
Yeah.
But I am glad that they are providing that option. It's important to have that option.
Yeah. Although one thing I do,
it makes it feel like the Switch is finally being considered like a real console, rather than like a handheld that kind of pretends to be a console.
But also one thing I will give Nintendo props for. I mean, yeah, it's not much of an upgrade, but still kind of, and it's only $50 more.
Yeah, it's not that much more expensive.
Yeah, a regular Switch is 300 bones flat, whereas the OLED is only 350. It's not that bad. It's like it's not like the PS4 Pro where that was like an extra $100 on top of what you're already getting with the regular PlayStation 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the Nintendo news.
So sorry.
Nice. No, it's fine. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Luna. All right, trailers.
T-Talk.
Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom, the third and final season of the Transformers War for Cybertron anime on Netflix.
I cannot wait for Transformers 6 Rise of the Beast.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I feel. No offense to this thing.
Now I
not 6. It's a prequel.
I am
yeah.
the only one who's seen season 2.
Yes.
Yes.
You're and you convinced me to watch season 2, which I need to get on that.
Yeah, actually, look for a Fake Trades Watch where we're going to do season 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Of course.
I like season 2. I think it's pretty good.
Well, the thing is, at first I kind of swore off. Well, after the first trailer for season 2, because I was really, really hot and really the most positive on the first season when we watched it and reviewed it for the show. And then I saw the trailer for it, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna waste my time with it. It looks dumb and stupid. And then you told me some of the bits about it, and you didn't give me full spoilers. And then it piqued my interest. So now I'm gonna you know what? I was able to watch that one season in a night. I could probably knock season 2 out, and watching the trailer for season 3 actually looks pretty dope.
I really like some of the elements that they included in season 2. There is time travel in the trailer. Galvatron shows up. That's due to time travel, and it looks like they're going to expand a little bit more on that one because the Maximals and the Predacons are already on Earth, and the Transformers are going to, and the Autobots and Decepticons are going to show up on Earth.
Yeah.
So there are 3 versions of Megatron on the planet Earth at one time. They are also looking for the MacGuffin from Beast Wars. So if you're a Beast Machines Beast Wars kind of junkie, you're like, oh my god, that's cool. I said this when they did Rise of the Beast. You're gonna do anything with the Beast Machines. I'm gonna be there, regardless of whether or not I like the first 2 seasons or not. I would always be here for this.
Yeah. Also, I wasn't here last time when you talked about Ron Perlman being Optimus Primal in the new movie. I am so happy for him.
Yeah, that's so cool.
He is going to be so cool as Optimus Primal.
Oh yeah.
wonder if they're going to do the plot line where the cheetah gets possessed by the ghost of Starscream.
Nope.
Probably not.
Probably not. No, Starscream.
Probably not.
Starscream actually looks like he betrays Megatron in this one, like for real, and
he
I'm kind of
does.
into that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Like the movie.
giant Transformers.
Yeah.
All right. Chapelwaite. Ben, would you like to?
Looks
Take this
spooky
one?
as shit.
What's this one about? Jerusalem's Law, right?
Yes,
Vampires, I guess.
No. What's the? This is a part of another Stephen King. I mean, you
Uh,
know this, right?
No.
All right. Anyway, it's a prequel to Salem's Lot.
Yeah, like so up until the vampires, I wasn't really sure what this thing was, and then I saw the vampires. I'm like, oh, this is Salem's Lot, which is like witches and vampires, and like that's where like man, you guys should watch that original Salem's Lot movie from like the 70s or 80s, whenever it came out. That's like really prevalent. Like you have to invite vampires in, and like they make it really really spooky, and like in a really like spooky ways, and like really sexual ways, where like women are trying to like seduce you, like you gotta let me in, and it's like oh, but she's gonna murder you. Great stuff. Great stuff.
She's gonna do a murder.
She's gonna do a murder.
I thought this looks really cool, though.
It looked better than I expected for something that's on Epics.
I mean, I loved one of the things I liked about it when we were watching the trailer is that Adrian Brody leaves his kid, and then Ryan is sitting next to me, goes behind the door. Door closes. Of course, there's a dude right there.
Yeah,
That's the thing, is that everything that seems like it's spooky, I'm like,
seen it before.
seems like uber pedestrian.
Yeah,
in a way where I'm like, there's nothing inventive in the scare.
I've seen this.
Here.
I've seen
Like,
this type of thing.
What you're
100 times.
selling me on is that, like, the setting, I guess, a little, and Brody. Like, I'm sold on
Yeah.
Brody, and I'm sold because I've watched Schitt's Creek. I'm sold on Emily Hampshire, who's seems to be the lead female in it. But other than that, I'm not really here for it.
It's on Epic, so like I'm definitely
there's
not gonna watch
nothing-
it. No offense.
I'm not
Like
watching it.
I'm not looking at it and going, oh yeah, I'm like you're it looks like it wants to be on the level of Haunting of Hill House, and I don't think it is.
You know what this makes you want to do?
But this could just be a bad trailer.
Yeah. Also, it just makes you want to watch Salem's Lot because that thing is good.
I will not grow insane. So
Val. A24's documentary. Val.
So I either forgot or didn't know that Val Kilmer had throat cancer.
I
and
didn't
that
know.
Sucks.
Mhm.
I did not know.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I had no idea. Man, but this is actually pretty interesting. By the looks of it, it's a pretty interesting documentary because Val Kilmer is definitely one of those actors where you're like, oh yeah, the guy from Batman and Top Gun and Tombstone, and then you think,
Kiss Bang Bang, which we watched.
yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and then people talk about like, oh yeah, he was like really buff, then he got fat, and then he just disappeared, and it's like, wow, he's
What
had
it-
a life.
What it looks like, he's an artist, is what
Yeah.
it is. Like being an artist means like you have your ups and downs in life, and like he's definitely had a really crazy and cool life, and
Mhm.
with its ups and downs, and like I
Uh-huh.
forget how much stuff he really has been in, and I've seen a bunch of interviews. Like I like Val Kilmer a lot. Like again, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, like that dude, he still makes good stuff. It's
Yeah.
just few and far between.
One other film that he was in that I just cannot believe he was in. He was Moses in Prince of Egypt.
Right? Oh, I
yeah.
definitely forgot that.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's a
Zara sent me a clip from Prince of Egypt, and I was like, man, I forgot how hard that soundtrack went.
Mhm.
yeah. Especially when the
We're
vampire-
at an interesting moment where, like, people who the pre-YouTube generation of celebrity has now had the opportunity, if they film things on like old, as they were going through things in the 80s and the 90s, because there's the other documentary on Hulu that I forget the name of right now, that's about like all the kids from like Growing Pains and things like that,
All right.
having recorded themselves as they all hung out, because all these sitcom kids like hung out a bunch because they were all going through the same thing, and they recorded a bunch of it because having a video camera was a new and cool thing to do. And Val has a very similar vibe of that, where like I have this backlog of footage because I liked doing that, and it makes sense that a lot of that is coming now to kind of to the forefront, where like I kind of want to analyze that. You get this self-analysis of celebrity that's never had the space to necessarily exist before, because that only kind of belonged to like the new modern internet generation.
Right.
Right.
But now they're having the tools to really do this as well.
Mhm.
So that's really interesting.
He's the bad guy in MacGruber,
Yes.
and I will always respect him for
Yes.
for making fun of himself so much like that.
Real quickly, Mag is here in the chat.
Hi,
Hey,
Mag.
hello, Mag.
Maggie.
Late after day one of family vacation. Ben said you were at a game.
Yeah, he was at
Congratulations! I hope you won.
he was at the Dodgers game today. He actually messaged me that he got an awesome Clayton Kershaw jersey.
Nice.
Good choice. He's a great pitcher.
Very cool.
You know what else is a great picture?
What?
The next trailer.
Which is
That's a horrible segue. Mr. Corman, the new Apple TV Plus
You never know.
series.
Well, actually, that's a good segue because
With
Joseph
Joseph
Gordon-Levitt was
Gordon-Levitt.
in Angels in the Outfield.
true that.
That's true.
Hey guys, let's watch Joseph Gordon-Levitt go through midlife crisis.
I really like Joseph Gordon-Levitt when he does his he becomes kind of a creative voice also.
Mhm.
I think he's got a lot of interesting things to say.
Mhm.
So I'm curious that he is writing and directing this new series. So I'm already
Did
interested.
you see the movie he was in called Hesher, where he plays like a heavy rock man?
I didn't know.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good character piece.
I will check that one out. I really like Joseph Gordon-Levitt just in general. I think we all do.
Yeah.
I like him.
Like I
Jiggle.
said, he's the best thing in Rise of Cobra, where he's playing Cobra Commander and doing this great voice.
It's definitely not like the sixth thing that comes to mind, but
I know, but
I
I
get
just
you.
mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
no, I think this looks cool. There's certainly potential on the table there.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is also Apple TV Plus.
Yeah.
Plus it up. Buttercup.
The Witcher season 2 also had a trailer. Now, which one of us didn't see it again?
I watched it.
So
Well,
Spark-
he hasn't watched it yet.
Yeah, Sparks
He
hasn't
watched
seen it.
Yeah.
So Ryan, Brandon.
Yeah.
Are y'all ready to toss your coins to your Witcher?
Well, of course.
I'm ready for a new song that's going to be just as good, if not better, because I still hold that Her Sweet Kiss is the better song from season 1 of The Witcher.
I think you might be alone on that.
Joe Starr is
Nope.
with me, so I'm not necessarily alone.
There you go. Okay, all right.
Unfortunately, toss a coin has just invaded my brain. So I'm pretty
It's a
sure
catchy-
I'm pretty sure
I
if
love
I
the
heard,
song.
No,
I
I'm
love
pretty
the
sure if
song.
I heard the song, I would agree with you.
I love the song. I'm just saying.
That's good. That's good. But yeah, I'm just excited.
Yeah. This
So-
is
So
50 seconds.
Sparks, I am going to rewatch season 1 because lots of stuff happens in that season. It's also like a non-linear season, so like my memory on it's very hazy.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And like I really want you to watch it because The Witcher's really good, and I know you like Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
It's not a lack of interest that's kept me away. It's just been
No, I know.
like no, I know. I'm not really saying it for you. I'm saying it for audiences that don't know me. It's not a lack of interest in The Witcher. It's just been circumstances more than anything. And for a long, long time, like Megan and I were trying to do it together, and then Megan was like, "This actually, I don't think appeals to me," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then it just has been a hard road to find my own way to making the time for it.
I think we got time now, though.
Well, the good news is doesn't come out till December, so we got some time. We got
Yes, the big deal is the release date was also announced with this, and it is December 17th.
this
This might be the earliest we've seen a Netflix trailer.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Hmm.
They really want to
Well-
get that Witcher out there.
Yeah.
Well, also I feel like they're probably putting a lot more money into the budget because there were some CGI scenes in the previous season that
Yeah.
they didn't look the best.
Yeah, it was as good as that show was. It definitely was a lower budget than it still looked really good, but it was
Yeah.
definitely, you could tell it was lower budget.
Yeah.
So Witcher Con happened.
Yes.
So The Witcher 3, which is a 6-year-old game at this point, it is getting a PS5 and Xbox upgrade. It's also getting new DLC that's inspired from the show.
Oh, cool.
This is a 6-year-old game that's getting brand new content for the PS5. I'm so excited.
Question. So I have The Witcher 3 on my PS4.
Yeah, it's a free upgrade. Yes. That is one game
You'll get that a lot with your PS5. You'll be
Yeah.
able to sell all
That
this
is a
upgrade
game-
stuff.
I will, because I didn't beat all that DLC. I will 100% play that game again.
I will always remember the day when I was on my PlayStation Store and Ryan texted me. He's like, Ben, Witcher 3 and Mortal Kombat are on sale. Buy them or else we're not going to be friends anymore. I bought them. I still haven't. I played Mortal Kombat. I played a little bit of the only the arcade mode. I haven't done the story yet because we're future based arcade. That's going to be coming up. I'm not going to get spoiled. But yeah, I still haven't played Witcher 3 because I know that's a 100+ hour RPG, and I'm still right smack dab in the Nier Automata, and I can't believe I can remember what happened last time I played Nier Automata.
You have a good memory.
Like Ryan said, WitcherCon did happen, and the other big trailer that was released for WitcherCon was the anime movie, The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf. This is coming out August 23rd, and this is by Studio Mir.
That's so soon.
Yeah. I'm really excited for this one. I love Studio Mir.
This is a prequel, right? Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
prequel.
Yeah, we didn't see a whole lot, but just from what I did see, I'm in.
I love Studio Mir so much. They're my favorite animation company that Netflix works with. I personally think they're the best.
Simply the best.
So
They are.
I'm really stoked for this just on that, but also I really like The Witcher. So yeah,
Yeah.
give me more of that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they are very, very. Oh, I need to watch Dota. I need to watch Voltron. God damn it, there's so many things I need to watch.
I would recommend watching Voltron first.
I know.
See, that's why I just don't watch anything because there's too much of it.
It can get crippling at times. All right. Encanto, the new Disney
Bless
original animated film.
So it's the X-Men.
Well, it's the first trailer. First Disney trailers like this, they don't tell you a whole lot, but it does get you in the mood. It's like, hey, here's the very base premise of a thing that's going to happen, and it's charming. It looks gorgeous.
People got powers. She don't got powers.
It does look gorgeous. The animation's really nice.
It's definitely. I mean,
you've got Lin-Manuel Miranda on the music.
that he's back again,
and it's just nice
He
to
won't leave.
do a film that's this diverse.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm probably gonna go watch it. I'm probably gonna cry. Last time I had a lot of. Nope, that was Coco. Coco is when I really cried.
I haven't necessarily cried from a Disney channel, but not Disney channel, from a Disney original animated film as much as I cried during a Pixar film.
You know what?
we'll see.
I didn't cry, but I got some feelings during Moana.
It's a good movie.
That's a very good movie.
All right. Anything else you want to say about that one before we move to the last one?
I don't think so.
Then what if?
Marvel, baby.
What if what?
What if the TV series came out on August 11th?
I am the Watcher.
I would be extremely excited.
Well, good. That's what it is.
It's crazy to live in a world where this show is being made.
Yeah. It's hashtag blessed, like for real.
Like that there are Marvel films that have gotten such notoriety that they're making an animated series that specifically says what if different things from those movies with most of the cast coming back. That's wild.
Yeah,
That's a wild world to live in.
The characters that are confirmed to not be reprising their voices are Tony Stark, obviously, Steve Rogers, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Howard the Duck, and the Collector.
I guess I'm eating crow on that one because like last week I was like, they'll probably get him. I'm wrong.
I'm shocked that there's no Captain Marvel. I figured Brie
Captain
Larson.
Marvel, Brie Larson not coming back.
I'll
is
be
the
honest.
surprising one.
I'm shocked that Seth Green isn't Howard the Duck.
That seems like an easy
Yeah.
get.
It's also true.
That seems like an easy get.
I was like, hey, Seth, you want to be Howard the Duck in an anime show? It's like, just let him do it.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I honestly thought that they'd already said Benedict Cumberbatch was part of this. So I was kind of surprised to see that Doctor Strange wasn't. And I guess I made that up. Or just assume because he was so prominently featured in the
You
early
think so,
material that I
yeah.
was like, oh, I'm sure Benedict Cumberbatch is back.
When they announced the voice cast and they put all the pictures up, they kind of did it with the assumption that they would get others.
Yeah,
like that wasn't all so far, but
I think they were. I think there were negotiations too. I think that's the reason why nothing was specifically set.
Yeah,
I think there were still negotiations, and negotiations didn't pan out.
Yeah, it looks like
which sucks.
There's some crossover, like Doctor Strange meets Captain Marvel.
Captain Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like the Guardians of the Multiverse and whatever.
Some crazy stuff.
And they're introducing stuff like from the comics directly, like they're doing Marvel Zombies.
Thor without a beard.
Wow,
Yeah.
wild.
Party Thor is what it's called in the
Party Thor.
Party Thor.
Hearing Chadwick Boseman as
that's
T'Challa
sweet.
again.
It's the last time he will be T'Challa.
Yep. And I mean, I know that's his last time as T'Challa. That's obviously it wasn't his last movie because that one movie, what was it called? The Netflix one.
Oh, Ma Rainey's.
That-
I forgot the rest of it.
Yeah, that one because that was his last actual movie. But knowing that this is the last project he was on that's being released is definitely going to be a gut punch. But I just love that ending scene where he says a Ravager is not alone, and it's like
I'm due.
It
so good.
looks really interesting. Like when we first heard about it, we had assumed that the idea would be like, what if a certain thing happened in a movie that changed the movie a bit, or a lot. But it looks like they're branching out from that premise and doing, because Marvel Zombies is part of this, and I have a hard time thinking what movie could have turned into Marvel Zombies. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they honestly they could just do the easy route and just be like, oh, something landed from space.
But
something
we see
easy.
we see the Winter Soldier fighting zombie Captain America.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's not Winter Soldier that did it.
No,
it's really
He
it's
survived.
going to be really crazy just to see this all unfold, like knowing them playing in this alternate space is just really cool.
Yeah.
I wish that they got the full gosh darn it, Astra. I wish that they got the full voice MCU cast back because that would make it like really, like the majority are.
Yeah.
But it would really make them. We still don't know about Tom Holland though, huh?
His picture's up there in the beginning.
But they've neither confirmed nor denied him
Yeah.
reprising Spider-Man.
That one must be a tough one because of
I've been wondering that one.
because he's in what
Right,
if.
but they didn't list him in the not being reprised, but he's also not listed in reprised
Yeah.
either. So I don't know.
All I know is I saw like an Ultron Vision, and I'm like, that seems pretty.
Maybe
cool.
it'll be like
Yeah.
when Drake Bell replaced Josh Keaton. in
some
Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Some interesting stuff there for sure. Whose head is that?
Scott Lang's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Paul Rudd's voice that comes out of it.
Oh, okay.
Weird,
I was,
right?
I was wondering who that was.
I was wondering if it was Bruce.
Mag said something about Howard the Duck. He mostly did voice Howard on the cartoon series on Disney.
Oh, that's true. He's
okay.
on that Guardians show.
Seth Green.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Well, I
is-
was thinking of it just because Seth Green is the
movies.
voice of Howard
Yeah.
in the post-credit scene in the
No, but-
MCU. So
But I mean, I
Friends,
just
too.
but he brings up a good point. Like he's done even more than that as the character.
Yeah,
so
so
it's
it's
even
really
weirder.
weird, yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
weird. Maybe he
Uh,
doesn't talk.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe he just doesn't talk.
All right.
Yeah.
Shall we get into our?
yeah, I guess so.
Oh, did you have more to say?
I don't know. I'm just really intrigued by What If, and I feel like there's no world where we don't see Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher in some movie at
Yeah.
some point.
The first season will be 10 episodes, and then
Yeah.
they're gonna do the season. 2 seasons are confirmed so far,
Oh,
and
sweet.
they said that there are potentially more MCU animated stuff in development.
I wouldn't be surprised if this expands out. We'll find out in a week if this is actually expanding out of Loki, which I suspect that it might be in some
Mm.
way.
Watcher and Loki confirmed.
Yeah.
Well,
Wild.
we see Loki in
Wild.
the trailer, so.
The Watcher in Loki.
Yeah, Loki.
Oh, okay.
Loki is controlling-
I remember now. I'm really interested in seeing who that if that is Shuri or who the other Black Panther is in the world where T'Challa's Star-Lord. Because if you're looking at that Avengers pan around,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
do the Avengers shot, and the
yeah.
far left is a different Black
Oh,
Panther.
I didn't even see that. Okay.
Oh, good point.
Oh, it's got to be
Ooh.
Shuri.
Yeah, it has to be.
Or it's
Or it's Peter Quill.
no, it's
Oh
my
God.
Killmonger.
Lordy.
Killmonger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
All right, shall we get into our news? Nope, we just did the news. Shall we get into our review?
Main topic?
My gourd is so strong. It's the coaster.
All right, we're back
It's gone.
from the
The break.
music that just happened.
We took a 30-minute break.
So full spoilers for Black Widow, the 24th film in the MCU.
$240
And-
million dollars, everybody.
And every other MCU movie, if you
technically, I
care.
guess.
Yeah, and show.
Spoilers for the Avengers from 2012.
So full spoilers for Black Widow. We're reviewing Black Widow, so let's get right into it. What do we think about this one, Ben?
She dies.
Damn, spoilers for Endgame.
Wow.
That's why I said every other MCU movie.
No,
we're
you're
gonna
right
right.
away
No, you're right.
spoiling
My bad.
Endgame.
No, we set ourselves up for this. No, you're right.
I haven't seen Endgame, Ben.
Bullshit.
It's true. I wasn't
It's
there.
not you tried to make a shirt that said Aven Game on it and wear that to the day we went. Anyways, real thoughts. I highly enjoyed it, but this is definitely a Marvel movie that I'm not going to go back to anytime soon.
Ryan.
I'm conflicted. I'm being honest. I really like it, but it's just like she's dead. Like Ben's right. Like she's dead, and this movie came out after, and it just feels like, why did this movie come out? I enjoyed it, and I'm sure the further I get away from it, from a couple years from now, I'm sure I'll feel better about it. But right now, I'm just like, bro, she's dead. It's just weird. If the movie was more important, maybe, but like, bro, she died. I don't know.
Sparks?
We're gonna get into like all the reasons why and that kind of stuff, but I'm definitely sitting at like this is slightly above middle of the road, I think. If I'm giving like a general broad stroke real quick, is that this movie thrives mostly on the performances of the supporting cast more than anything. But I think Scarlett Johansson's able to give a lot to this as well, more than she ever was before. But the performances of the main four characters is what makes this movie work. And I think absent that, the movie has far less going for it. Besides the action and the score, full disclosure, a friend of Brandon and I's, Luigi, worked on the score for the film. So I paid extra special attention to the score this time around. He was the score arranger for it, which is great. Luigi Jansen, you can see him in the credits, which is really awesome. So I'm a little biased about the score, but I thought the score was really good. But yeah, it just slightly sails above the middle of the road.
I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a lot of fun. I do agree that a lot of it is through the supporting characters. For me, I don't think it's. Not sure where it sits in my MCU ranking. I know it's not. It doesn't break top 10.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not
Not
even.
not even close.
But I had a really good time.
I did too. And I think here's the thing for me. I think it's to its detriment and to its success. It does a better job of being a setup film for Florence Pugh than it is a send-off film for Natasha.
It's a good. I think it's a good origin for our new Black Widow. I think it's a kind of bad movie for the one we have right now.
I totally agree because when this movie was coming out, I was like, where in the MCU does this take place? And we find out it takes place right after Civil War. So and then I was like, okay, it's been a while. What happened in Civil War? ... Okay, now I know.
Well, that's why Legends is there, Ben. On Disney Plus, you
did-
go and you watch it, and it
and then
recaps
you
you on
cry.
everything that
I'd
happened.
rather
watched
watch
it.
Civil War.
So I'll be perfectly honest. I only have one major critique with this film, and it is Taskmaster.
Well, cool. Let's do that.
I'm glad
one
it's
right
only
away.
one.
Oh.
I have a couple.
I have a few too.
I said major. I
Right.
said major. Everything else that I'll critique, probably even agreeing with you guys, never did hurt my interest in this film like Taskmaster did. And I'm not a huge Taskmaster guy.
Mhm. I don't think you have to be. I think the character in the movie is bad.
and that's what I'm saying is what it is. I get thematically why they did that in the movie, but why does it have to be Taskmaster? Why can't it just be a widow?
Yeah.
And beyond that, it gives you PTSD from those early 2000s movies, comic book movies,
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
where we figured we were beyond this now, this sort
Yeah.
of thing. Name recognition for the sake of name recognition.
Uh-huh.
We're beyond that
Mhm.
with the MCU. Why do we need that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what? Even like we've read a Taskmaster book, a few of them, right?
No,
Or
just one.
just the one. We read the one Taskmaster book as a book club for this show, and I highly enjoyed it. Even when I'm going back to play Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I'm playing Taskmaster, I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I read a really good book of his.
He's a friend from work.
Yeah. So seeing Taskmaster, I was like, why is he silent? And then when I watch this movie, I'm like, okay, it's been a while, but if I remember correctly, he talks a lot in the books.
Oh yeah.
The thing is, I get the implication to make Dreykov's daughter kind of a ghost for Natasha.
I love that idea.
I think it's a really
The
cool
execution,
idea.
That sucks.
It just doesn't work as Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No, like when Taskmaster like really freaked me out in a really good way? Spider-Man for the PS4.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He just shows up out of nowhere and wrecks your shit.
I think everything involving, again, like the action involving Taskmaster, I think is excellent. I think the mimicry is really good. It's just a boring henchman antagonist. Like it didn't have to be Taskmaster. It could have been any nameless villain. It could have just been the Red
And
Widow. It could have been anybody.
I want to I do want to keep doing this Taskmaster conversation, but I do want to expand it a little bit because I'm.
Oh,
kind of-
Dreykov also sucks.
No, because
Yeah.
I'm kind of agreeing with you about like the henchman thing, but I'm like, I don't think like it being Taskmaster is its own problem. Taskmaster has personality in the comics, and it sucks to not have that here. And yes, it gives me the same vibes as X-Men Origins Wolverine, what you're referring to, Brandon, with Deadpool, the way that they handled
I
that.
hate that I have to say that.
Yeah. It sucks. That sucks. But I think the idea of it being Dreykov's daughter, being controlled by Dreykov, all that kind of stuff, even as a henchman robbed of personality, would have worked for me. Had Dreykov been allowed as a character to lean more into the idea of him seeing women as instruments, had they actually expanded that concept and made him more than just bad Russian guy, and actually tackled the concept of why he ran the Black Widow program, why he thought that was okay, why he was so okay to even do this to his own daughter, had that been so prominent, the tragedy of what happened to her, not just because of what Natasha did, but what her father did to her, would have made her silence throughout the film more effective, so that at the end, when that line comes where she says, is he gone, would have the emotional gut punch that I want it to.
Yes.
And I don't think that's a Taskmaster problem. I think that's a Dreykov problem.
Again, Taskmaster. The overall problem for me in this movie is all the antagonists. Everything that the widows have to go against, I think, kind of sucks. I think Dreykov sucks. He's introduced in the movie way too late. The first half of the movie, it's a lot of telling me, not
You
showing
see him
me.
at the beginning of the movie.
You see him at the beginning of the movie. That's still not telling me who that character is.
Real quickly, Mag, I think brings this up nicely. Felt Weinstein vibes. I'm sure that wasn't was purposeful.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I agree with you. Like, he was gross, but he wasn't effectively villainous. Like, yeah, he was a creepy, gross dude about the way he talked about the women, but like it was all talk. It wasn't there was no. I wanted him to
He
be
didn't
able
do
to talk
anything.
to expand on. He has this great line where he talks about the world's
cheapest commodity.
cheapest
Yeah.
most abundant natural resource that he can just dispose of is girls. And like I wish that ideology were completely permeating his entire personality throughout the
Yes.
film, and that were a huge thing about like how other people talked about him when he wasn't on screen, how he was presented when he was present. But he's just generic bad Russian dude.
He's a bad James
who's
Bond villain.
misogynistic and like, yeah, okay, but like we could have done more. We could have done more to have tackled the reason why this guy was so good at and so driven to run this program, and we didn't do it.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with this movie. It's like if this is the last time that like this is the final Natasha Black Widow story. So it's got to be a story that's important to her story. You can tell it now and it'll be vital. I didn't think this movie did almost anything to her because in the next movie she sacrifices herself because she doesn't have a family and the Avengers are her family. So this movie literally has no point because like it has no relevance to the sequel movie.
I really want to talk about that bit real quick. Sparks, you retweeted a spoiler that someone that post. I mean, I saw it after I saw the movie.
I did say content warning, Black Widow spoiler.
You did. But the tweet was essentially about how in Endgame, Steve Rogers asked, "Does she have any or
Does she have family?
Yeah.
No, us.
Yeah, us." Is like now that's gone.
Yeah.
That's like she does have a family. She has the Crimson
he never says no, she didn't. He says yeah, us, because he didn't know about her family.
I mean, yes, she does say that the Avengers.
No, he says no, us.
No, he says yeah, us.
Bro, I just watched the
Brandon's
Is it
right.
right?
It is
Okay.
yeah, us.
Okay,
But-
but it's he's talking about them. He's talking about the Avengers.
But I even to Brandon's point, like my thing is that I can't believe that in the 5 years of Endgame, Natasha never once talked about her sister.
That's the
with
issue.
Steve,
Exactly.
and that's the
Yeah.
thing. But like even these kind of semantic things aside, the arc of Endgame's story is the point that the reason Natasha did this is because these were the only people that she felt like she truly earned
Yes.
her place with, had a home with, had a family with. And this, while it doesn't, I think, entirely undo that message, it certainly tarnishes it in an idea of how you would look at it chronologically.
So what? Another reason why I want to nitpick that bit a little bit more is because with movies like these, I'm just gonna call this movie a spin-off because that's what it feels like. It feels like a spin-off or a tie-in to the main thing.
Aren't all MCU film spin-offs then?
Yeah,
technically,
Yeah.
technically.
I mean, this could be a
Yeah.
technical origin for Yelena. This could be a spin-off for Black Widow. Like,
Yeah.
it could be all.
But the reason why I say this is that the reason why I have a problem with it is that they have these lines that obviously people like us are gonna nitpick, like that one Twitter user did with the whole family thing. And I feel like whoever wrote this didn't. I mean, they did do the research, but didn't do it well enough. It's like, why wouldn't Natasha mention to the Avengers, like, yeah, I had the Red Guardian is my air quotes dad.
Well, the thing is, like, the unfortunate thing is that's not this movie's problem. That's Endgame's problem. Like, this movie, it's not this movie's fault because what could they do? Like, it's this movie's trying to tell, and I do think, a good story about her family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The problem is that Endgame really, really kind of drives that film into the dirt, and this had to take place before because they killed her. And honestly, like, watching this only drove me further into, I felt this way when we first reviewed Endgame. Natasha's death was just badly handled and maybe the wrong choice the whole time. And I remain that way, and this only makes me feel more firm in that way. This movie, it's unfortunate this movie had to be made after Endgame to retroactively instill a lot of this, because it means that Endgame can't serve to contribute to the foundation that this film was supposed to build in her character.
Yes.
And that just sucks. That's just the reality. It's not this film's fault, but it is what it is.
Real quickly, John Radley in the chat.
Hey, I know that guy.
Radley.
I have to imagine she would have brought up Alexei to him after all of his boasting, speaking to a conversation.
100%.
Yeah, no, that and like Spark said, it's not this movie's fault. We've danced around it, but Ike Perlmutter was the reason why this film took so long to get made.
Yeah.
Bro, we got quotes for days about all the shitty things he said.
Even that being said, though, Ryan and I talked about this like outside of podcast. Like, the right way to do this would have been to have this movie made. This should have been made in the place of like I would almost argue Captain Marvel.
I was gonna say Captain Marvel.
or even just in the year right after Civil War is when this should have been made.
Like this movie,
like when Ike wasn't still involved,
Yeah.
but they had to get to Endgame because of contracts and everything. I get it, but that's where
and that's
we're
the
at.
thing. If there was no pandemic, this would have came out 1 year after Endgame, right? That's still after she died. Like it's just they really screwed themselves by not just making the movie when they could have. After Ike was gone, they still had the chance. They still could have done it.
Well, you're right. I never thought about the idea that you could have done this instead of Captain Marvel, because what does Captain Marvel add to Endgame?
She just
Other than you would know her when she shows up, but you could have done that retroactively anyway.
Yeah, they met her in the 5-year time span.
that would have been
or
cool.
whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Who's that really cool lady? I want to watch a movie about her. Captain Marvel. Like,
yeah.
The window existed for them to have planned this better to have. So they talked a lot about how Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame told a large narrative for Bruce and the Hulk. And you know what? I agree. I see the arc. I see the arc and pattern that they designed there. That's there. That's how Natasha should have been handled for this, in tandem with those two films as well. There should have been an arc about what she discovered in this film related to how she behaves through Infinity War and Endgame with the other people. That doesn't exist. That sucks. I go back, like you go and watch Infinity War now. Yeah, she's wearing a vest she got from her sister. That doesn't mean jack shit in that movie because they didn't know that when they made it.
Nope.
Like that sucks.
So here's the thing, like at the vest thing for me went way too long. I really liked it at the beginning. I thought it was great. Look at all the pockets. Like, I think that's hilarious. But like,
especially the way she delivered it.
Yes,
her bits with it are so good.
Then it's like it keeps going on. It's like, no, you take the jacket. Then she's wearing it at the end. Like, it's supposed to be of like, this is the character's outfit, and I'm like, it's a vest.
It's a vest.
It's a vest.
Honestly, if Sparks didn't say that was the vest that we see
It's not
Natasha
Captain America's
wearing
shield.
in not Endgame, Infinity War,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have remembered. I didn't remember that.
I didn't know it was her
I didn't
thing.
care.
While we're on the continuity flubs, I feel comfortable enough bringing this up. The idea that, like, I thought the Quinjet that Captain America uses to break everyone out of jail was the Quinjet he flew to Siberia and just flew away with it afterwards with Bucky in tow.
Yeah,
I didn't. The guy talking about like wasted characters, her friend dude. Who
What's his name? What's his name?
I don't know.
He doesn't have a name.
He had a poster.
He doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
His name is Agent.
You're
had a
right.
poster.
He has a poster.
He has a poster and he doesn't have a name.
He was there to make you think he was Taskmaster.
And you know what? That would have been a cool
It
reveal.
it never
I know.
crosses my mind.
I know.
Yeah.
Not once.
I still, when we met, okay, so I have a lot of positive things to say about this movie. We'll get to it. We will.
Me too.
I
No,
do.
me too.
But like, I got to get it out. This isn't negative, but like, I just thought of Rachel Weisz. I was still on the assumption Rachel Weisz was Taskmaster, especially when she was killing that pig. And I'm like, she's so evil. What do you mean? And then I'm like, oh no, she just forgot what love is. I thought that was great.
I think that like a lot of the reason why this negativity comes out, and because like the stuff we were talking about with Jacob and Taskmaster, like that's just a problem with this movie. But then there's other things that are just essentially a problem with this film, because like this film had to happen after they decided to already kill this character. And the shitty thing is, the thing that really bums me out is that because of the press stuff around this movie, we found out something that we didn't know before, which is that I assumed Scarlett Johansson was just ready to bow out. And that's why she was killed off in Endgame. That's not true. Kevin Feige came to her and told her, we're killing Black Widow.
Yeah.
And she revealed that in a press thing. And I'm like, well, that stinks.
If you guys
Oh,
remember,
I didn't hear that.
yeah,
Right.
So in the editing, they couldn't decide who were they going to kill with Hawkeye or Black Widow, and it was originally going to be Hawkeye. And the editor of the movie said it would have been more powerful if like Black Widow was allowed to make this choice as the woman or whatever. And that was the choice they made. And that goes to show you they were still indecisive in the editing of that. Who should they kill? So that means, you know what? It's not really important.
That to be perfectly fair, we heard about Endgame's editing issues for a long time. They were very clear about like when they were editing Endgame, they weren't sure how the movie was going to go.
But again, like if it's like, if you can just kill either character with like no consequence, then like maybe you shouldn't do it because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that was a bummer, because I assumed that the reason that she was stepping out of the MCU was because she wanted to.
Yeah.
I had assumed that too.
That apparently is not true.
That's a shame.
She has now said, maybe because
'Cause
she now feels comfortable enough to, but in press interviews, like right now, she's been like, no, I was told that Black Widow was dying. So she was escorted out of this series, essentially.
I like, she said some silly things in interviews and stuff, but I really like Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Like, I like that character, and I really like Black Widow as a character.
This movie made me want more
Yes.
of her being able to actually do stuff on her own, because I'm like, look, she could hold a movie fine. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't the issue. That is not the issue in this movie. Is can she hold the movie?
In another world, we could have gotten a trilogy of these before.
Yeah.
Ryan and I literally talked about like what we really needed was a movie that's like pre-Iron Man 2, a movie that's post-Winter Soldier, and then this one,
Yeah.
post-Civil
Yeah.
War.
And this
The
would have been
And that
Winter
should be a
Soldier
trilogy of Black Widow films.
The Post Winter Soldier one is one I've been
You and me both.
lamenting. Like
You and me
we
both.
should have gotten this after Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And it's and I'm sure there is a part of I'm sure Kevin Feige wishes that that's something they'd done.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't change the fact that like her being cut out now and then us having this and like what this movie shows we could have had, and like where just not only like the potential, but also knowing like, man, even the good character stuff that is here, most of it for her is a dead end because it's not built on
And
in the movies that technically follow it.
if
It's
this
just,
movie could have come out way earlier, and like we have a trilogy of these movies and these characters, so when she does die, it affects the Avengers and her Russian family. Like that would have been like so impactful and so great. And I'm just like, man, just like I hate business decisions.
I do. I mean, I do appreciate that we get some. There's a post credits thing. Obviously, I do appreciate that we have context now for why Yelena is in the Hawkeye series.
Mhm.
sure.
I think that's kind of cool that it stems from her death in Endgame.
Yes. And even though we are losing a pretty good Black Widow, Florence Pugh is a much better actress. So we're gonna get a really good Black
Florence
Widow.
Pugh's Yelena. I'm 100% on board with.
I cannot believe I had no idea what that character was going to be. I have never fallen so in love with a character so fast. you
Me
guys.
too.
Holy
Man.
shit! That this is where the positivity is about to come in, because like all 4 of the Russian family characters, all of them flawless. I have no problems with any of the good characters.
Dan Harbour, Rachel Weisz, Florence Pugh,
David Harbour.
David Harbour. Thank you. All 3 of them, I effing love in this movie.
And-
If I were to watch this, if I'm going to watch this sooner, the only reason why is because of those 3.
Honestly, and Scarlett Johansson was just able to. I think she was allowed to do more
Yes.
with her character by having scenes with those characters.
Mhm.
There's the whole scene between her and Melina, Rachel Weisz's character, where they're in their separate rooms and she's telling her about what really happened to her mom. Some of the best Natasha work Scarlett Johansson's ever been allowed to do.
Mhm.
She's bringing it.
Yeah.
It's just that some parts of the film are not serving to tell this story the best, but everything about their family unit, that's great. That's so golden. It's what elevates the film.
I have a note that says, for the most part, the actions, whatever. I'm not crazy about any of the action sequences in this movie. But I really love the heart of the movie.
Mhm.
I really like that Scarlett Johansson is able to bring more to Natasha, and I really like all of the hidden sadness that the 3 others bring to their characters is so good.
Yeah.
And we mentioned Florence Pugh is incredible in the role of Yelena. She's the stand-up for me in this movie. Probably my favorite Florence Pugh role at this point. As much as I love Midsommar, like this is for me like so much fun. She's so much fun in this.
I really need to get to that Fighting with My Family movie.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, she was.
I hear
that's-
she's really great.
Isn't she in that
That's-
Indy Goes West? Fido Goes West? What's the drama?
Fifo Goes West?
No, it's like a
Not Fifo Goes
got
West.
Aubrey
I was
Plaza
about
in
to
it.
say.
No, that's not her.
That's not her.
That's
That's
Elizabeth Olsen.
That's Elizabeth Olsen.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Ingrid
Ingrid
Goes
Goes
West.
West.
There you go. I was
Yeah.
close.
Like Fifo Goes West is a sequel.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that just the 3 of them, just the heart of this movie was so there for me. The humor of this movie was so there for me.
The like the dry humor, like it almost always worked for me, especially with David Harbour. Like
somebody pointed out like the nice thing about Black Widow's humor is that it comes from character interaction rather than from like witty dialogue bits or jokes. It's all about like situational humor of these characters interacting with each other, which is just so good. I didn't think this movie would be as funny as
I think it's actually pretty well written for the character stuff.
Yeah.
That dinner scene, like when they're all around a table, like we've seen it in the trailers, but like when Yelena's like, I thought it was real, and then she goes deeper into it, and like, because she was 6 years old, like she's
Hey.
a child.
Natasha, don't slouch. Just
Yeah.
like when Rachel Weisz instantly turning into a mom is like, hey, don't slouch, and
Yeah.
and seeing like the love that David Harbour's character and Melina and Alexi's character, they still love each
Oh my
other.
god! His
Even though
line-
their marriage was air quotes fake,
Yeah.
he loves her.
Yeah.
And she loves him. And I'm like,
everything
man,
everything that was about that family, like all of them have their own personal approach and reason, and it's not even, it's never overtly stated for all of them. Yelena's is, but like the rest of them, it's all kind of under the surface stuff, but it's clearly present that they all have different views on what their family was like, what that time meant to them, but for all of them it was important, and they're all kind of handling or hiding that in their own way, and trying to move past it in their own way, and it's not working when they all have to come back together.
You could tell,
and I think that's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yelena takes much more after Alexei, because like she's got his sense of humor, whereas Natasha's a little more strict like her mom. And I'm like, I love that, like you could see like the family parallels, because like Alexei's just like ripping jokes all the time.
It was 3 years, but it's the closest thing to like parental influence that Yelena or Natasha ever had.
Honestly, my favorite line in the whole movie might be Alexei going, "I have so much energy." And he's like, "This is a Marvel movies are notoriously not horny. This movie's pretty horny.
Oh, very
This
horny.
movie's pretty horny."
Specifically, the Disney films have been notoriously not horny.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. The Paramount films were very
Oh,
horny.
Iron Man
Super.
sleeping with chicks. Yeah.
If you all remember the Incredible Hulk joke where he starts to
I can't get that excited.
to bend
Yeah.
Betty
Yeah.
starts beeping.
Yeah, him and Betty are making. I was like, can't get that excited.
This was a big fun spy movie, and like it was doing like so the guy who did the score also did the score for the last
Lauren
Mission.
Ball.
Who did the score for the last Mission Impossible movie? I'm like, well, that makes sense. This feels very Mission Impossible-y. And like the face swapping stuff, there was actually a twist that I didn't expect with like face swapping.
yeah.
And that's
Oh,
what
the Rachel Weisz being.
Yeah, so I still was
That was a
convinced
great swap.
that Rachel Weisz was still evil because she called the Shield, she called the Red Room team. And
Real
like,
good twist.
and then she turns out, oh, she did it for the family, and she's the one in prison. I thought the pheromone stuff, that is something straight out of Metal Gear Solid, so I loved it. People online seem to not like it. I love it. I think the pheromone, you can't touch me, you got to break your nose thing is awesome.
So here's what I'll say about that. Like, I think that the idea of like the pheromone thing, and both the gas that helps break them free of the mind control, both of those things I think are really clever and good bits. My issue is that it's just still not taken up to the notch of like Dreykov's villainy in designing these things.
Yeah.
It's also surface level when I'm like, please drive him home on the fact that he went so deep to create these things to control women around him.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool as concepts, but he himself is not serving those concepts.
He sucks.
No, I know, and that's
Yeah.
really where my issue comes from. Is I'm like, this is a really ingenious and sick and gross thing, and I don't think you're reveling in it enough or justifying enough the person who would have created this.
Like he really should have been in the movie, and I understand why they like you had to pretend.
I don't even think he needed to be in the movie more. He did need to be amplified in the scenes he's in.
Yeah.
Other people needed to talk about him in the way that made it impactful of like, you need to understand just how absolutely vile this person is, especially to women.
Because to me, he just seemed
Melina should have been the vehicle for talking about it more at the farmhouse.
Melina seems more evil than he does at sometimes, like killing pigs.
And she should have like opened up a lot about it. Honestly, it should have been coming mostly from her.
Yeah.
And I wish that had happened. Because that again, like that is for me, like Dreykov should have more of a pathology that actually makes him stand apart.
Yeah, because he's just like evil just for power. Like,
yeah, well, and like if you're gonna have this like message of like this man controlling women kind of thing, and like you want to be this pro ladies movie that's tackling this misogynistic asshole, like actually drive home how much of a misogynistic asshole he is, not just with like the surface level stuff, but like really make him a disgusting, gross person. In like every facet, and in a way where like other people have to talk about like how terrible the things he does to women are, and I feel like it's never, even like when they do kind of go into it, like Yelena talking about like, because it's played for comedy and it is funny, but like talking about grossing Alexei out about how she talks about how they were
the hysterectomy.
Yes.
Oh, dude, they just flush it all out.
Not attaching that directly to Dreykov in the moment is not helping to contribute that image of him.
You're right.
And it should be like, this is the thing that Dreykov put us through.
It's true.
There's a moment I really like. Not to handbrake turn into
no, it's fine. It's fine. I just
skip to that one.
I just wanted to put that out there.
There's a lot of fun parallels that Yelena plays with in this movie that I think really work really well to her character as far as humor and emotion. There's the one where she says, this would be a pretty cool way to die with the avalanche, and then she says, this would not be a cool place to die.
Yes.
But then the bit where she's about to destroy the ship, which does not look as bad as the internet is making it out to be.
Yeah, out of context. I will say, out of context, it does not look good.
But
But
when she said
yeah.
when she does the thing and she says it was fun,
Here's
that's a really good emotional beat for me.
I do want to talk about. I don't think I hear what everybody's saying about that moment. I don't agree about the part of it that looks bad. The part of it that looks bad to me is Natasha in front of that
No.
bad green screen. That looks so much like she's not there.
Yeah.
That one is hard for me to that, like, because I've seen that clip floating around. I'm like, I don't know what y'all are complaining about. The real problem here is Natasha in front of that green screen.
Yeah.
That looks real not good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't think I disagree about the action. I didn't think any of it was like this is not the best action movie in the MCU, but I thought all of the hand-to-hand scenes were pretty good.
I think it's cool.
I especially think the first bridge scene between Taskmaster.
Yes.
I think that's excellent. I think that's probably
one
the best
of the
fight.
things. The reason why I bring up the action is because one of the things that we knew was going to happen in this movie, because we talked about it before on the show. The MCU action sequences are often done by second unit directors with no input from the first unit directors. And we heard about the first director that was attached to this movie left because of that reason. You look at something like Birds of Prey, which has a really good action sequence, really inventive. Like, it's clear to the director's eye. You look at some of the other directors in the MCU, such as James Gunn. You know, they really like try to bring in their voice to the action sequences. I think the action is good. It works for the movie, but there's nothing in it that says to me like this is just kind of MCU action again.
I think what is cool is how effectively, like, you can spot the hero's Taskmaster is mimicking.
Sure.
Is cool that it's there. I will say I'm mildly underwhelmed by Alexei and Taskmaster's final fight in the third act.
Yeah.
I wish it was better
Mhm.
and bigger. My favorite action sequence, actually, that I don't think is getting talked about enough, is the big car chase.
Yeah.
That's my favorite action piece. The part where Yelena swerves the car and makes the door pop off and take out the motorcyclist. I'm like, this is good shit.
Yeah.
This is real good shit. And the way
That's
the
when it
tank
felt like
comes
Mission
around after them,
Impossible,
I was
yeah.
like, this is real solid.
Yeah.
I think that's actually the best, most solid action piece throughout.
And I think the ending isn't good, but I do like the final when everything's falling through the sky. I think that looks pretty good.
Yeah, I do
And like
too.
Taskmaster with the sword.
Yeah, I
and
think it
stuff.
looks really good too.
Yeah.
The way she's sliding down when he comes out, like we've seen it in the trailer, but I'm like, this looks pretty cool.
The motion of this movie works so well for me that doing this show, I know where Yelena's going to show up next. We heard that she was going to be in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
When she does it was fun, and she always blows herself up. I, for a moment, was so entrenched in the emotion of the movie that I forgot that she didn't have plot armor.
Yeah.
That she was going to be okay. I was like, oh no.
So this is the other thing, is that like Yelena getting to put in the final move on Dreykov, I just wish, again, more of that direct like connotation of like how bad he is, not just to Natasha but to everyone, was made clear. But it feels like it's only in some ways personally addressed for Natasha. Like, obviously Elena has a dog in the fight, but again, like, I feel too often that it's just talked about as the Red Room, the badness of this program, this thing, and I'm like, please associate it directly to Dreykov. Like, let's talk about how Dreykov is the person who does all the bad things here. His Sky Fortress is cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Real Eggman vibes, right, Ben?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
When I first saw the trailer for this that showed the falling, I was kind of worried about the stakes about the scale of the movie being so high. I really wanted a more kind of Mission Impossible, like Ryan keeps talking about, feel to the movie. And the Sky Fortress was not as big of a deal as I thought it was going to be from those trailers, and so I did get much more of a Mission Impossible type of film.
I'm with you. I was like, oh, are they
100%.
falling off like a satellite in in space? Like,
Right.
No, yeah.
We were. I think we were all on that note, and I'm pleased with the way that rounds out.
The thing that I'm because I know Sparks, we talked about it a lot before, but like how subdued this movie was in being a Marvel movie. Like,
sure.
I was expecting Hawkeye, I was expecting Nick Fury.
Yes, I was so glad that we didn't see a
Cap.
I was so glad we didn't see flashbacks to Budapest.
Yeah.
Outside of
We see it
Dreykov's
quick.
daughter, that explosion,
that's
which I
new
think
footage,
is
though,
I think that's important.
Yeah.
But I was glad we didn't see like there's a reference to Hawkeye's arrows, but we don't see a flashback to like the moment when he was there with her,
Yes.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Also-
There's the reference to them hiding in the events,
yeah,
which
with
I
all
think is
the-
cool.
with all the tic-tac-toe and the hangman
thing
that
is-
says
cute, yeah.
The thing is, when the thing about Budapest that always annoyed me was that the fandom thought that when she said it was like Budapest, it meant aliens were involved or something was involved. Something big happened in Budapest. And I'm like, no, they were just cornered in the same situation. You can see it in the damn movie. So I'm really happy that they were like, Black Widow, yeah, they were in Budapest. That's where they killed Dreykov's daughter. And then they had a shootout with some people.
Now, I will say, and I didn't actually expect it. This is one that I haven't talked to you guys about a cameo, but I expected the Winter Soldier to be mentioned in this movie because the Winter Soldier is a Russian brainwashed assassin. The fact that I don't mention him whatsoever in the Russian movie, I'm like, he didn't have to be in a movie because he would be in Wakanda at this point. But the fact that they don't mention like, oh, we tried this in a different scenario with the Winter Soldier or something like that, like, well, it's just weird to me.
Well, isn't in the in the movie? So this was weird to me. So. Winter Soldier, I think in the movies is just retconned to be a Hydra soldier, not a Russian soldier.
I guess that's true. But he was like stationed in Russia,
right? And by the third film, we see that he was
Hydra moves to Russia,
right? So what we see in this in this film, they say that Alexei and Melina had gotten help with the super soldier serum from Hydra, working together. So the thing that we see in Civil War with the other super soldiers is related to whatever Alexei and Melina was doing.
Yeah.
So that was the kind of thing where I was like, oh, so there is actually a connection here, but they didn't. It's not important to the movie, so they don't spend a lot of time on it. But that was a little kind of question.
I would have like I hear you. I hear like wanting a little more of that, and I kind of wish it was expanded on, but like more than anything, I just wish Dreykov was a stronger presence.
So
like that for me, I'm like, that's fine.
Like we don't actually see him until the very end of the movie. We see his hand on a console. That's about it.
And we see, we see him in the beginning.
Yeah, Dreykov's in the beginning when they land up.
Yeah,
but it's for like a minute, and he seems like a good guy in there.
Honestly, when we first see him for a hot second, I thought it was just some random Russian general for the
Soviet Union. Antagonist of the movie.
You know what? This actually all circles around something that I do want to bring up, which is that the tone of this film is set by something that I don't feel like the rest of the film pays off on, and it's the trafficking of girls.
You want to talk about the Nirvana cover?
Which the opening credits, which this has opening credits, which is cool, really sets up a particular type of image, and I think that it is doing a lot of the legwork of trying to say what the emotional stakes for these characters are supposed to be, that the rest of the film is not allowing the characters to reflect on.
I agree. I
and
thought
that's what really gets to me about Dreykov, is that I'm like, the association of that is so dark, and I don't feel like it's present enough, even as like, again, we're kind of like just we're talking about these things rather than like showing how these things actually directly affect them.
It's the Falcon Winter Soldier thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Like they won't really go into it. And again, like I think I like the opening credit sequence. I think it's interesting they use the Nirvana song, and they deliberately leave out the word libido, but they keep in other silly words that are in that thing. Like Marvel's just silly sometimes. But yeah, it set a tone that the rest of the movie wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting it, like, because like I was really impressed by that opening thing. I'm like, oh shit, is this going to be like really dark? And it's not. It's not. But I guess like, hey, you could just be stylish if you want for 2 minutes. That's cool.
Yeah. Let me see about my notes. Anything else we want to talk about?
Yeah, there's a real big one. I want to talk about the Ross in the room.
What do you mean? He's not even there.
Yeah, that's my problem. So there was just no reason to call Ross at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because they clearly shot that scene. And
clearly they shot a scene that he was supposed to get out of the vehicle and have a conversation or something with her, because we saw it.
I was waiting to see how she got away from from Ross and his team when in this wreckage of the Sky
she changed
Fortress.
her hair color.
And then she's just gone. I'm like,
how about she waits for Ross?
Yeah, she waits for him.
thing.
I'm like, what is going to happen here?
So my thing was that like, okay, so like, if we're not going to do a scene with Ross, let's just not show calling Ross as important.
I don't mind the beginning.
No, I don't either. That's not my problem. I'm talking about the ending only.
The ending doesn't work for me because we know that Black Widow was never arrested to go to the raft. And even the movie tells you, oh no, she didn't go to the raft. Why not? If she specifically waited for Ross and then waited
because
for him
we are not shown a scene that was filmed before. And I'm like, fine, it's cool if you want to cut that scene. Also just cut Ross. Cut the mention of sending out a distress signal to him. Let them handle this on their own. Know that they're doing it on their own mission. And then at the end, have her say her goodbye, and that be the end of that. And then cut to a couple weeks later, she changed it. Don't even have me think about the Ross thing if we're not going to figure that out. It's fine that you decided to cut that scene. Like, don't have him.
Yeah. I was really left a little deflated after.
It felt like it was building to a moment there, and then it just stops. The movie just stops and says, oh, 2 weeks later. And I'm like,
So
What?
So we get that scene, like Ross doesn't show up, and it's 2 weeks later, and it's just her looking at her Infinity War. It's like, I'm gonna go do the Infinity War now, and just the last shot of the movie is just her in a
Well, right, she
Quinjet.
because she has to break. They say that she has to break out the people in the raft, but
Steve
Captain
Rogers
America
did
does.
that.
So this is my other thing. I appreciated that we only got a vocal cameo from Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And it could have even just been recycled dialogue. Although we know from Throg that they're not opposed to just recording little new snippets. But I take out her friend and have the person showing up at the end be Captain America. Because again, and Civil War,
They just
like,
weren't going to open up a new contract with him.
But at the end, you're right. But like at the end of Civil War, like we know he has the Quinjet, and with Winter Soldier, and we know that he breaks the people out of the raft.
Yep.
So like have her be a part of that.
It's
Say
again,
that she was part of that mission.
They had like the ending. You're like, well, how do we get there? And like, does it make sense? No, but she's dead, so who cares?
Get rid of the dude. Get rid of her friend. He doesn't
And the shitty thing
impact
is, like,
the movie at all.
I think he has a good personality, and I like he's cheeky. But again, they don't even give him a name. Like he's a nothing.
You
character.
take out the movie, there is nothing about. Sorry. You take out the character, and nothing about the movie changes.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I just feel like the ending kind of like just goes out like a wet fart in a way, and I'm like, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I like everything about like up into the moment where the rest of the family leaves with the other widows.
The middle of the movie,
I think everything's like cool.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, all right, waiting for Ross. Nope, never mind. Oh, Infinity War setup. Fireflies.
Yeah, like halfway into this movie, like when all the characters have met and they're doing their stuff, I'm like, man, this movie's awesome. I'm loving what's happening right now.
So,
But then we get back to like the bad guys.
so Mag actually has a question for us.
Mag.
Why do you always do that?
'Cause
Get out of my space.
He's interested.
Personal space, Ben. That's fair. Mag says, any Easter eggs you guys find?
Not too many.
I mean,
Not too many.
I watched it once.
I've
so-
only seen it once. I didn't see any big ones.
I have a pretty good Marvel eye. This was
Yeah.
pretty much. Oh yes, there Ursa Major is in this movie. He's the guy in prison. He calls
The big guy.
he calls him a bear. Like David Harbour says, oh, he's a bear. And he
I-
goes,
Is that the
I
guy
saw
who gets
it.
his arm broke?
yes.
I saw it. I'll accept it.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about
I'm not happy about it because he told me Ursa was in the movie. I wanted a bear, man.
it. I wanted a bear.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
There
fine.
is Crimson Dynamo. They call Red Guardian Crimson
Yeah.
Dynamo.
Yes, that's a cute thing.
There's not a whole lot that I noticed.
So I've read again, it's not because like I read 1,000 comics, it's because they haven't made many. I've read every Black Widow comic that's come out in the last 10 years. They didn't do a goddamn thing with any of her Black Widow comics. Dreykov is an original character. He's not from the comics. They didn't pull anything from the
Right,
comics
they were
except for
working-
Yelena.
They were working backwards from that interrogation scene
Yes.
in
100%.
Avengers.
Yeah. Oh, that's
which you never needed to.
Nope.
yeah.
You never needed to.
They could have done like there's like a great there's the Phil Noto arc that I really like where like there's an evil organization called Chaos, KAOS, and like they could have done something like that. Like they could have done something, but it's just like, oh, we're gonna do the one thing everyone knows her from. It's the Red Room. It's the thing that everyone knows. I'm like, I guess, sure, I get it.
Like I said, I kind of like the idea of the Red Room.
An evil
There-
version of our character, like every other origin movie.
Well, I mean, honestly, I've never minded that. But I did like. I do like the idea of Dreykov's daughter being a ghost to Natasha, and I like the idea that the Red Room is still there, even though she thinks it's supposed to be gone.
I think it's served better in this film than any other. Again, remove the Taskmaster thing. Let's just talk about it being Dreykov's daughter.
Yeah.
About this, like, if she had been the Red Widow or something and served the exact same purpose, couldn't talk, but countered her in all these ways for the action set pieces. The fact that it is Dreykov's daughter, and we learn that Dreykov's daughter is the thing that is the collateral she had to pay to become a member of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mhm.
and leave her life as a widow in the Red Room, like being haunted by that literally in her moment and having to look at the reflection of like the past, no matter how much she's done to be a hero that she can't get away from. Super good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super great thematic idea.
Yes.
Shouldn't have been Taskmaster.
No.
But I think that is a smart call. And I honestly wish there had been a little bit longer of an action beat between the two of them at the end of the film where she's trying to help her and can't kill her,
Mhm.
but this person has to kill her. I wish they had been able to fluff that out. It ended a little faster than I wanted it to, even though it would have been more or less the same.
Another thing I just thought was really funny. Right before the Taskmaster fight, Red Guardian's like, Melina, if this is the last time oh, you're gone.
Yeah. Or just him trying to talk to Natasha, and it's like, you don't have an earpiece.
Again, man, the comedy is so good, and those supporting cast is so strong. And it's like, you got so much stuff up here, but then you got stuff down here. So I'm like, oh man, it's still, can't it all be even?
Shall we?
Even Stevens.
Shall we rate? And is there anything else you guys want to bring up? Or?
One thing I just want to touch on very lightly is that there are some shots in this movie that I thought were really weird. Just the way it was shot, the angles were kind of weird. I don't know if you guys thought of any of them.
Not really.
No.
There's just some close-ups and some shots of random things. I'm like, are we focusing?
Ben, if you
on
don't
that?
mind, can I ask? Did you go see this in theaters?
Theaters, yes.
Okay, I was just curious.
Good.
Yes. All right. Shall
That's
we rate
it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, Ben, why don't you rate it first?
7.
Ryan.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Good, not great. Good, not great.
Sparks.
Yeah, I'm gonna give quick final thoughts if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that the shittiest thing about this is that there's no way to work around the fact that what we're doing is having to build up essentially a character's origin film, and a thing where we've been piecemealing it through all the other movies and then also killed her already. So you're just having to kind of shoehorn this in, and there's just no getting around that, and that's just crappy.
It sucks.
And the context of the wider world around this film for Natasha is a bummer, because this shows how much more there could have been done with this. For Yelena and for the others, it's like, hey, great. I'm super great foundation. Here we go. Take off.
Thank
Let's
God
go.
they didn't kill any of those characters that can all show up again.
Right.
Oh,
Absolutely. Great open roads for all of them. For Natasha, it's kind of a bittersweet thing, and that there's no world where you get around that. And it's a shame that's kind of one of the biggest things pulling this movie back, that and the villain Dracoff specifically for me needed to be stronger. Again, it just didn't need to be Taskmaster.
Listen, Natasha was a poser anyway, so
But I wish that that villain force had just been actually driven home as the representation of all the grossness that we're told time and again what Natasha has gone through. This is the guy behind all of that for so many women. I wanted that to have the impact that I feel.
It makes me wonder,
could have just punched it all the way home
if the movie was originally going to be that, and they were like, don't go so hard.
Yeah.
I forgot to. Sorry, Sparks. Real quick.
No, it's okay.
I did forget to ask. Was there anything we wanted to say about Val?
No.
Because
we know nothing about her.
I know, but does this? So we weren't. I know we were kind of not crazy about her in Falcon Winter Soldier. This doesn't really do anything to help that.
I said to Ryan.
Oh, Julie Louis-Dreyfus. I was like,
yes.
who the hell is Val?
Val Kilmer, the trailer we watched.
I said to Ryan that I'm honestly, if this was supposed to come out first, I'm kind of glad her introduction was in Falcon and Winter Soldier, because it felt like a better introduction to me than this was.
Yeah.
I
That's
agree.
me.
So we talked about her very briefly. I'm still under the assumption that she's creating either the Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts, or some combination of the two. I think now that I don't think she says, "Oh, your next target's Hawkeye." I don't think she's going to kill Hawkeye. I think she's trying to recruit Hawkeye.
I don't think she's either. I think she's going to try to kill Hawkeye at first, and then she's going to team up with Hawkeye about whatever's going on in that show.
Yeah. I don't know what to think of her yet. I'm still not sure if she's good or evil.
I don't think Renner sticks around after the Hawkeye show.
I hope he doesn't.
I doubt
No
it.
offense to you, Jeremy Renner.
His character has literally been trying to retire for 4 movies.
His character did retire. Then he was
his character
brought back
has
in.
retired.
Yeah.
Sparks, what would the rating be for you?
7.5.
So we got 7, 7.5, 7.5. I'm actually going to go 8.
Wow,
8.
nice.
I really enjoyed this,
I'm glad.
despite my flaws.
My impressions may change in the future, but
I'm
for
sure
the
in
moment,
2
this is
years
what it
I'll
is.
still hate Dracoff, but I'll be less sad about her being a dead character.
Yeah, as things smooth over, your opinions smooth over over time.
Yeah.
Mag has one final comment before we get into our book club. He says timeline post credits guesses probably means when do we think the post credits take place? I just think an indiscriminate time after Endgame.
Yep.
I suspect probably moments. Not moments, sorry. Within a month before the Hawkeye show takes place, whenever that is.
Yeah.
Which I would suspect is probably 3 months after Endgame.
Okay. All right. Shall we get into our book club then?
Yes.
Book it. Book me.
I got the thing.
Book me.
All right, we are doing book club. It's my turn this week. I picked Murder Falcon by Daniel Warren Johnson with colors by Mike Spicer. So what do we think about this guy? You guys want to go first?
Ben, go first.
Oh, I go first.
Yeah.
So I was listening to the episode last week, and I know you guys were super hot on Snagglepuss. I was too, and I remember Sparks saying that was probably his favorite book of the year so far. I think this one is also going to be in the top right for one of my favorite books of the year because I freaking love
This is definitely
this.
this is definitely more of a Ben book than Snagglepuss.
Don't get me wrong, I love
agree.
Snagglepuss, but God,
I mean, this is practically Ben on the cover.
Yeah, like
I loved this book. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Ryan.
I think it's a good time. It's a good it's why I read comics. It's a big fun time. Yeah.
Sparks.
Very colorful.
This is my favorite read of the year.
Wow, nice. I love it.
Ooh, all right.
I adored this book. I cried at the end when so spoilers for this comic book that we're going to be talking about. The main character does die, and when he's talking to his wife in her dreams, there are no words, baby. Thank you for everything. Just tears streamed down my face. I couldn't control it. I haven't had such emotional reactions in any excitable way because I love every splash page. I really love what this comic is doing. It's big, it's bold, it's gorgeous. I was cheering, I was crying, I was so into everything about this book. This book was incredible to me.
Like when in the very first pages when you see Jake and he puts the guitar on, and it's like and you see Murder Falcon because when he said, "Hey, I'm going to do a book called Murder Falcon," I'm like, "What the hell is Murder Falcon?"
I was recommended this by Kirk, who said it was great.
I had no idea what I was in for, and then when you see Jake put the guitar on, he's like, "I will save you with the power of metal." I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be one hell of a ride already."
My favorite splash page is the one where Murder Falcon is riding the Mastodon now that Joe has found the base. And the Mastodon and Murder Falcon says faster than a laser bullet, louder than an atom bomb as the splats the monster the
Veldar.
The Veldar. Gorgeous splash.
What's this book
pages.
about, Brandon?
So this book is about a gentleman named Jake, who gets a magical axe that can summon Murder Falcon from the heavy. And the more he plays, the stronger Murder Falcon gets. And he has to get his band back together because they also have instruments that will summon other creatures to help fight the Veldar, which are creatures that are invading our world because they want to feed off our despair. And metal is the only thing to fight back because it is the opposite of despair. So basically,
Yeah, but what about Magnum Chaos?
That's the bad guy's name, right? Magnum Chaos.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I really. Anything else you guys want to say?
So I don't know what else I can say besides the fact okay. Can I see your book real quick?
Yeah,
There's
go right
this.
ahead.
I want to say it's at the end of or near the end of the first issue when I knew for a fact I was gonna love this book. Is when Murder Falcon murders a monster, and then Jake's like, "What next?" And he goes, "Beer." Like
That
they're
sounds
drinking
yeah.
beer, they're listening to metal. It's one of those. This is one of those books that I love how they take music and they glorify it. They glorify it in a way how it's like this is what music makes you feel. What music's supposed to makes you feel, and it's not just metal. At the end of the book, you get the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra, so it's not just like
Summoning a giant samurai. So cool.
yeah, it's not just metal because I still feel that even today metal kind of gets there's a stigma to the music genre, as in you see a lot of skulls, you see a lot of death, you see a lot of hail Satan and all that crap.
Hail Satan.
When really metal is just a form of music that people really love, and you get all this like we will shred with the metal, and it's just rad. It's just awesome. I absolutely love the art and the art. So Mike Spicer, he did the colors, right?
Mike Spicer did the colors, yes.
Did Daniel Warren Jones draw this as well, or Daniel Warren Johnson? Sorry,
is the writer and artist.
I love.
He's
the
doing Beta Ray Bill right now.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, the art in this book is just it's metal.
So
It's so
the
good.
sequences, the action sequences are fueled by music, and music is a really hard thing to draw in a comic book, and so you really but his artwork is so dynamic, and you can really see the movements in the artwork, and you kind of almost like rather than hearing it, you kind of like feel it. You feel the emotion that the music is trying to drive with the action sequences, and that's all done through art. And I think that's one of the major points about this is the art.
Yeah. So another part of this book I love is it's like the third page in is when Jake shows up. The officer's like, "Who are you?" It's like, "I am Jake." "Well, you can't kill it." "I don't need weapons, officer." I brought metal.
It's such a Ben comic.
Yeah. This
Yes,
book,
it is.
This
I
book
love it.
definitely. This is gonna sound weird for me. I think this book for me, it's a little too much. Because it starts at a 10. Yeah, I know it's weird for me to say
Mhm.
it, but when you start at a 10 and it's a 10 for 8 issues, for me, it loses some of the emotional connection because I think it's just trying to be big at all times.
Mhm.
Even though I like the band stuff, getting the band back together, but just like when you're defeating like your 300th splash page, it just starts to fade into it all looks the same to me after a while.
Sure.
Okay.
I guess I can understand that. I did not feel that way. For me, I think the escalation, like as you say, it does start at the 10, but I think it escalates with each splash page. The emotion of it really snuck up on me because I wasn't sure. Like the moments where he gets back together with his wife, when the other dude loses his entire band and goes to find Bruticus, and they have to team up, and then the wife gets the microphone and summons this giant wolf.
That's
I think I think the escalation just kind of like, yeah, I really like this.
So another one of the reasons why I love this book so much is that you're given information and your brain goes into a certain direction. Like when there's a flashback scene, I want to say in issue 1 or issue 2, where you see Anne for the first time.
And then cancer.
You get married they get married and then it's the hospital scene. So you're thinking, oh, Anne's dead. No. And then as the book goes on, you realize, oh, she's not dead. And then, oh, it was Jake who got sick. And that progression, to me, propelled these characters a little bit more forward for me, because I thought it was just Jake mad at the fact that his wife died and he couldn't feel the music anymore. But instead that he was the one who got sick and he pushed everyone away. And it's him telling his bandmates, I'm sorry I pushed you away. And even when he's talking to Chaos at the end of near the end of the book, where he's like, yeah, this was the part where it was the worst moment in my life where I found out I had cancer. But my best friend Johan is going to show up in half an hour to help me.
Sparks, you haven't said much.
I think the art is really cool. The world is really cool. The idea of the heavy and all that I think is really great. I don't really want to say a whole bunch about this because I don't need to be negative on something you guys are high on. I don't think the story of Jake is told very well. I think the emotion of it is kind of bad. I'll sum it up as this. I liked it better when I thought that Anne was dead because it made the character make more sense. Once it was revealed that he was the one who was sick, the whole story kind of becomes a whole bunch of like, not a lot of him actually doing anything to make up for his shittiness as a person, but instead people being like, oh, but Jake, you're great and you're dying, so we're going to be nice to you. And Anne comes along and Anne's like, man, I got to make it up to you though, because you clearly felt like you had to push me away, so I got to fix it. And I'm like, that's not actually how this works. So the actual like core emotion of Jake throughout the story doesn't land for me because he's kind of a self-involved dick. That's me. Not dick is maybe too strong. He's a self-involved
Jerk,
kind of putting it upon other people, his baggage, and not taking enough responsibility for it.
No, that's perfectly
and
valid.
that's supposed to be the emotional core of the story. And it doesn't work for me. It doesn't resonate.
Oh no, that's totally valid, dude. Totally valid.
I was hoping we'd find something that all 4 of us like.
I'm sorry, but like the story just it didn't speak to me. It very much just rubbed me
If
not
the
the right
art
way.
wasn't as good, I would be way more negative on
I
this.
do think the art does propel the book for me in a lot of places. Like I talked about,
The world's really, really cool.
how kinetic the art is. From as much as I do really like the emotional story beats of this book, unfortunately don't agree with Sparks. But
That's fine.
The thing about like having this artwork be so kinetic, and having it be such an audio story, like it really needs audio to like really drive home the story. But for this,
Can't wait for this to be an animated series.
Oh yes, but for this artwork to kind of like show that type of kineticism with and the music and everything, I think that really helps this book flow a lot. There is a Spotify playlist. Dana Warren Johnson created a Spotify playlist for the music that inspired this book. Mostly hair metal. So if you guys like hair metal, like Iron Maiden, things like that. I personally went with something a little heavier when I decided to listen to some metal after this book because I got in a huge metal mood.
I was listening to metal on the way over here, to be perfectly honest. After I was done reading this book, I'm like, damn, I need to listen to some Dragon Force or Sabaton, just something
Yeah, I'm definitely now very interested in more of Danny Warren Johnson's books. I own Wonder Woman Dead Earth, which is his Black Label book.
Check out Extremity, which he won an Eisner for, apparently.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that one out. And Beta Ray Bill, when that comes out in trade, I'm going to pick that up
Yep.
because I heard that was good.
One more thing. I love how Ryan James Dio ushers him into the.
I was gonna ask if Brandon knew who that was.
I didn't. I was actually interested in.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
going to
Dio.
ask.
That's Ryan James Dio.
Okay, cool.
Not Dio Brando, but Rodney James Dio.
Did you recognize the statue of the guy holding the Ace of Spades?
No.
Okay, that's Lemmy from Motorhead.
Cool.
Rest in peace. I think the one character thing that worked for me in this book was, I forget his friend. I think it's Lewis, but he says like, "Hey man, you got to realize like you're not the only one with pain." And I'm like, that's really nice.
Johan.
Johan. Thank you. Yeah.
And that was kind of like, I thought that was a good moment. I just don't feel like Jake actually takes that to heart in the
No,
rest
I
of the
agree.
story, and
No, I agree.
that's my issue, especially in his encounter with Anne, where like literally the moment where he goes to like talk to Anne and like say, "Sorry, I was shitty." Anne's like, "Let me stop you right there and talk about how I was shitty for letting you shut me out." And I'm like,
Yep.
"Yeah, it was all right."
It's got a big robot arm. So
yeah,
it's cool.
just a little more shallow on like we'll talk about this rather than develop it. And I'm like, it just didn't work for me.
What was the creature's name? The snake creature that hurt that should bring.
That Jimmy brings out, the drummer.
Alexios, Alexotl.
Alexar.
Yeah. Yeah, her dad also has Alzheimer's, and that was sad. But it doesn't come back again.
Yeah, it's important. See.
Yeah. The music, the musical instruments are really coolly designed. I really like the Tokyo Philharmonic when they show up with the samurai and the tanks, and I think all that's really cool. The girl has the drummer has the floating drum set. I think that's a cool visual.
I wasn't joking. Like I think of Invincible. Like I think if this were turned into like an epic like miniseries.
Yeah.
I think it like Gendy Tartakovsky should make this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the art's really, really great.
Yeah.
And you need
cool
like
world.
a real metal band to do the music.
I love I love how all the main characters who get time.
A real metal band, Spice Girls. Yes.
One of the things I love is how all of them have different instruments. Like you have the Philharmonic, who the guy who has the violin, obviously, and sings, and you got a bunch of guitarists here and there. But then once the one lady in Tokyo, she busts out a keytar. I'm like, just all the
Or the
music.
cowbell that summons the herd
Yep.
of cows.
Honestly, my favorite character was the Kiss band, who all of his friends died, and he's the last remaining guy. He was the coolest guy.
Whisperwood.
Yeah,
I
that
love
dude
that.
was the coolest guy.
And he hands her the microphone. It's like, I always thought Bruticus should have a front man,
A front woman.
a front woman,
Yeah.
and just screaming. Such kinetic artwork. I love just so
Kinetic.
much.
I agree entirely about art.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I got then. Anything else you guys want to add before that, or should we get out of here?
No, sir.
Sparks, it is your book club now.
He knows what it is for sure.
Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1.
Oh my God!
Oh.
I get to read those first issues.
We're
again.
not gonna wait for the first episode.
It's gonna be 2 years, bro.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk about Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.
I love Buffy.
Something That's Killing the Children Volume 1. Check that out next week, as well as next week. We're not going to be talking about Space Jam and New Legacy. I know you're all disappointed. None of us want to see it.
I mean, it's true.
I do. I want to
mean,
watch some Looney Tunes.
I might watch it on HBO, but if
I
It's
will
free.
watch it.
I keep forgetting it's free.
I will watch it. I'll tell you about it when I watch it.
We are, in fact, going to be reviewing Gunpowder Milkshake, which also comes out next week on Wednesday.
Right.
That's the Karen Gillan new movie. So yeah, check that out next week. And coming up is
Milkshakes.
Snake Eyes and then Jungle Book.
Snake Eyes is
Oh,
coming
yeah.
I so soon?
Yeah.
Man, I just don't care.
Maybe we won't be reviewing.
No,
Snake
we're
Eyes.
reviewing it.
I
I
really
just,
wish it didn't look so generic.
man, I like you, Henry Golding, but like, man,
He's the only reason I want to go to that movie, and
Yeah.
that's a bummer.
That is mine too. Well, Samara Weaving. All right. Anyway, so that'll do it. So stay tuned. So what am I doing? Right, I'm getting out of here. So yeah, stay tuned for that next week conversation. Okay, gonna plug some stuff for you guys. Obviously, if you guys listen to this on audio and you like listening to podcasts on audio, check out my show Conversation. That is up on its own audio feed, where I talked with Michael Hahn from the GD podcast and Mom Fears My podcast. That is the Gamer Dads podcast. Next week, I'm talking to Andy Paulistides. I will remember how to pronounce it after I would listen to the episode again. And of course, you can check out our other shows on this channel. If you're watching the video or you just like videos, check out our YouTube page. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. You can check out our other shows, such as Fake Nerds Watch. We are currently going through, we've mentioned it before, Loki. We're currently going through Loki.
Choo choo.
Ben and I are considering doing a Transformers War for Cybertron
That we are.
Fake Nerds Watch special for season 2 and 3. I forgot what season 2 was called. That's fun.
I'm
I forgot to.
robots on planet Cybertron.
So more Fake Nerds Watch, obviously, coming your way. Based on Arcade, now that we are able to do more in person, we're probably going to figure out when we can do Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god, please.
So stay tuned for that. And of course, Based on Arcade Pause Menu is another show. That's
can't
audio
wait
and video.
to show you guys my Arcana.
That's dirty. Of course, the Fake Nerd Book Club currently on hiatus. You can check that out on this channel, and of course, Animation Station, Sparks' new show. You can check that out.
Is Kang there?
Not at that station.
Not at that station. Okay.
Why don't you guys just do Transformers on that?
Animation Station?
Yeah, it's animated.
Well, because it's yours.
I don't care. I'm not going to be on every episode of it.
It's animated.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Ben's not going to be on every episode of Pause Menu.
Damn, you hear that, Ben?
Well, I mean, if
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you
going
going to play Miles Morales soon? I didn't think so.
I don't have a PS5.
Guess
How
what?
could I?
Neither did I when I played it.
Neither did I when I played it.
Damn. Sucks to suck.
All of those shows are at the link are around in this channel. Check it out. Subscribe to us. Whatever.
Around.
Crafted by Z. We have some masks still doing it. The Delta variant, guys. Who knew?
Hey, we're gonna get a Pfizer booster.
Hey,
That's what I heard.
Hey, I'm just glad when I was sick last week, it wasn't the COVID. And I know because I got tested.
Well, we do still have masks. We have a couple left. You can check them out at Crafted by Z. That's linked below. Check out our Fake Nerd Podcast masks. And, of course, our Patreon. We got 4 tiers on that Patreon. If you kind of like us tier, which is just $1, you don't get anything yet. I might figure something out later. Our $5 tier where you get some things as soon as I can figure that out.
You're not selling it, Brandon.
The $10 tier, guys. The $10 tier is the tier that I know what to do with.
There we go.
Because that is our T-shirt tier. We have partnered with someone to the T-shirts. The Stephen King is my best friend.
There we go.
I almost said Ben Magna is my best friend.
I mean, yes.
Are you?
One of them?
Aren't you my best friend?
Put it on
Yeah?
a t-shirt.
Well, not actually.
It's not on a t-shirt. It's not real.
That's true. That's gone. The orders are in. Should be getting those. So for anybody who ordered them, should be getting them. But the new shirt up there, don't be a dick. In the
Nope.
style of Looney Tunes. Speaking of Looney Tunes, yeah,
That's
there
it. I'm not doing more.
you go. Speaking of Looney Tunes, Space Jam is coming. So go to Space Jam with a "Don't Be a Dick" T-shirt.
Yeah.
Timely.
I won't have the orders in by then, so
Sorry.
don't do that. T-Public, where we get other shirts and things like that. So all of our logos have shirts. I'd rather be a fake fan than a true.
Yeah,
true
I'd rather
nerd.
be a fake nerd than a true fan.
There you go.
There
Thank
it
you.
is.
Even I stumbled upon that. Bloody hell.
That's linked below. And of course, you can check out our website at www.fakenerdpodcast.com. All of those are linked below and on our website, which is linked below as well. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who watches. Real quickly, I'm going to see about. Yep, Mag does say. Mag says, stay safe and catch you later, FNP.
Awesome.
Shout outs to my friend John Radley, who appeared briefly in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Thanks, friends.
He showed his daughter Black Widow, but she's watching the MCU recently, so she hadn't seen Infinity War yet, so they didn't watch the post credits. So she just watched Black Widow like where it's supposed to happen.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mag says, going to be exhausted but rewarded for 2-day Universal and day 3 beach day.
Nice.
Oh,
Enjoy it.
Mag, send me pictures of Super Nintendo World, what they're doing, please.
So thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who watches the live stream. Thank you to everyone who watches the replay. We just appreciate you guys. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci, who does our intro music, which you've heard throughout the episode. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards. You can find his podcast, Suburban Proctologist Official. Sorry, Suburban Proctologist. But you can find that at facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official or Instagram at SubProc Podcast. You can find it on iTunes, obviously. Thank you to Mike Matola. Mike's a great guy who does who's done 3 logos for us and a couple of Mike's Impossible Trivia Challenges. He was at Comic-Con with us. You can find him at Mike Matola. Hopefully get more things from him soon.
Yeah.
Whew, I'm out of breath. Woo.
Almost there.
You right there, buddy?
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast. If you'd like to get in touch with us, fake nerd guys at gmail.com. you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ben?
You can find me screaming into the void about how bad the flight controls are at Super Mario 64 at BenMagnet27 on Instagram and Twitter. And also, like we said at the very beginning of the show, I write for Old School Gamer magazine. My newest article about me and Sonic the Hedgehog is up on this website right now. So you can go and check it out.
Ryan?
You're going to stand there owning a fireworks stand and tell me you don't have any whistling bungholes, no spleen splinters, whiskey biscuits, honey honkers, whiskey doos, whiskey don'ts, cherry bombs, nippy dazers, ones without the scooter sticks or ones without whistly kitty chasers? At DJ Tony Snark.
What the hell's that from?
Joe Dirt.
Okay. Sparks?
You can find me singing the praises of my friend Luigi Jansen for working on the Black Widow score at Sparks Winning on Instagram and Twitter. Also watching Shark Week, which I'm really sad that I wasn't wearing my shirt for this, but I'm watching Shark Week this week.
Imagine he's
Shark
wearing
Week,
a
it's
shark.
back.
He's wearing a shirt.
Says I wait all year for this week.
For you
don't
audio
know where it is.
listeners, he is wearing a shark shirt.
Shark.
I wish.
Shark.
I don't know where it went.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcast, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. And until next week, guys, stay fake nerds.
Strongest girls in the world.